10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
PokerStars announces the World Championship of Online Poker.
$2.1 million.
More than 10,000 players.
33 events this year.
And for the first time, $1 million score. WCOOP 2009, what a
Over
year.
$2.2 million for first, that's
The
insane.
taxi driver who satellited in takes home $1 million. Crown-up guy is the world
This kid is
champion.
1-to-1.
Sean Deeb consistently crushing WCOOP.
What a lineup.
Adrenaline 7-1-0, 5 titles in one series. And it's PT Fisherman who reels in the main event trophy.
2021, the year of Talal.
WCOOP is still the title every online player wants to win.
This is where world champions are made.
Welcome to the PokerStars Arena and the 2022 World Championship of Online Poker. Time for the biggest buy-in event of the series, the final table of the 25K Super High Roller. 56 entries, prize pool of over $1.3 million and a first prize of more than 426 grand. 7 players remain competing for that prize money. Cards up all the way as we play to a champion. I am James Hartigan. He is Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies.
Joseph, does the Super High Roller keep you rocking all night? Does it give you a fright?
It did give me a fright, but only 3/4 of the way through the night. I did fall asleep eventually.
Well, let's get straight to the final table. Action is underway. We are into the money. They played to 7 last night. That's when the bubble burst. And as you would expect, with a $25,000 buy-in, it is a rogues gallery, or rather a heroes gallery. Some of the biggest names in poker, names that will be familiar to you from both the online world and the live circuit. Players like Thomas Mulocker, Linus Lerliger, Mikici Bodjakovsky, Laszlo Bushtas, David Peters, Pascal Lefrancois, and Alexis Ponakovs. And we do see Mulocker in action here against Pascal.
Every single name known here.
And it is Laszlo Omaha for rolls who comes into the final table as chip leader and is opening here under the gun with King Queen.
King of Spades for Omaha, 4 rolls. Total whiff for Makita.
And a 143,000 C-bet. And Laszlo Bushtas is going to win that pot. So blinds currently 20,000, 40,000. They are playing with 30-minute blind levels, relatively deep right now. And David Peters, playing from Mexico, opens to 88K. David Peters, a player with $41.5 million in live earnings. A player, Joe, who won a platinum pass at the first PSPC because you drew his name out of a tombola.
David Peters es mi jugador favorito de Mexico.
And David Peters, huge favourite here with queens against Thomas Mulocker, who has got 9s. Wushu TM, playing from Austria, a player who won a WCOOP earlier this series, took down a 5K turbo PKO for nearly 120 grand, going for WCOOP number 2. That is a set on the river for D. Peters.
D. Peters with another D. Peter. You know, David Peters famous for wearing tracksuits no matter what stakes he's playing when he's playing live. When he's playing online at home, shirt and tie.
So action folded around to Bodziakowski. Talking of super high rollers, we did recently see Nikita win the 100k super high roller in Barcelona for nearly 2 million euros.
When was that?
A month ago.
What have you done for me lately?
The irony is, it's only a month ago. It feels like a lifetime ago, but that just might be psychologically me trying to push it to the darkest recesses of my brain. Nothing to do with Mikita's win, just to be clear. Barcelona was tough on many levels. Mikita's got the snowmans.
Nom nom. Nom nom.
It was especially tough on level 26 where James was staying when the building got struck by lightning.
Interesting suggestion, and yes, I'm using interesting as a euphemism, from Frosty
Yeah, it's
Upscope
not
watching on YouTube.
interesting.
Question for the programmers, would it be possible to have the table chip leader always placed at the bottom of the screen? Can the table be rotated when the chip leader changes to make that happen? I'm sure it could be programmed like that, but that sounds like a terrible idea. I firmly believe that if you've got your final table lineup, you should just keep the players in those seats. If the table was constantly moving around and the seat assignments were changing effectively based on who was the chip leader, that would drive me crazy. And I actually think it would be tougher to follow for most people.
So apparently I got to rein in the banning a little bit, but I just got, I'm sorry. This is my one for the day.
Sorry, Frosty. We've got
Thank you for your comment.
top pair jack kicker for Omaha for rolls, top pair 10 kicker for David Peters, and bottom pair and a wheel draw and a backdoor flush draw for Pascal Lefrancois. Can we highlight, by the way, that Pascal was the runner-up in last year's WCOOP main event, came second to Crazy Lissy, and bagged himself a 7-figure score, more than a milli for his second place finish in the 5K main event last year.
I was about to say I like that deuce 4, but maybe now that there's no spade on the turn, maybe I'll switch to ace jack.
Guys, please don't take that comment to be an invitation for bad ideas. So kicking 2-2-2 when you say, how about change the color of the felt every single hand? No. And again, we might just release the cuffs on Joe and let him wield the banhammer a little bit more freely this evening if this continues.
I'm happy to see Milkman in the chat over on YouTube. What's up, Milkman? Canadian poker legend.
Okay.
Oh,
And
no.
had Pascal made it to the river, he would have had 2 pair, but shoulda, woulda, coulda. 2 pair on a straighty board, not ideal. As things stand, it's a battle of the aces. Omaha for rolls, who is the chip leader at this FT, does have the better kicker. Laszlo Bush, a player who already has 2 WCOOP titles, the first from 2015, the second from 2018. Sorry, Joe, you were saying?
The only drawback, honestly, between online and live poker is that you can't lean over and go, I folded 4 deuce. That's it. That's the only difference as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. By the way, Joe, I'm glad you brought up the subject of Canadian poker legends. You mentioned that we've got Milkman watching on YouTube, and we have Pascal Lefrancois at the final table. Oh, I guess we should bring Griffin in at this point. Griffin Benja, welcome.
I was wondering if you were going to use that segue. I thought it was getting away from you because, like, the hand was ending. I'm like, oh, that was such a good... But then you did it even better, and you made fun of me. I'm very happy to be here. How are you guys?
We love you, Griffin. You know we only jest because we care.
Yes, I know. Have you guys noticed that the the chip leader is in like the main kind of seat. I like that. I feel like it should just always be like this. It's something.
I mean, obviously,
symmetry
what will
to it,
happen,
you know?
Griffin, is if David Peters doubles up and takes the chip lead, they will all rotate to the right.
Yes. Okay, great. I like this idea. Whoever made it, I think we should hire them.
I mean, if we can make that happen in live poker as well, if we can basically have kind of the stage on wheels, on little ball bearings, and it could move around every time the chip lead changes.
What's next? A shark cage?
It takes long enough for me to memorize where everyone's sitting. I'm not going to have it be circling around all the time. No, thank you.
And I think we've hit the nail on the head. The reason why we can never entertain this idea, either online or live, is for the sake of Joe's addled brain.
Concessions must be made.
It is quite addled.
So, interestingly, Wushu actually flopped best with a pair of sixes, but that ace on the turn gives Pascal the win. Now, I did mention, and the reason I drew attention to it is they played not just to the final table last night, they played into the money. So they were on the bubble on the last hand of day one. So that will explain how we have Ponakov basically just eking his way to the FT with a sub-10 big blind stack. Although,
but
great opportunity for a double up here. Omaha for rolls opening with 10-8 of diamonds. Ponakov with aces.
Ooh, maybe not a double up.
Well, I think it's just enough, or not enough chips for Omaha for rolls to fold a hand like 10-8 suited. It's probably a bit too good of a price. You know, you're looking at about 6.5, 7 big blinds. 7 big blinds actually right on there, I think. Is that right? 40 times 7? Yeah.
Makes the call, and, well, that was easy. Double up for a Ponakov. By the way, those of you interested, it was Airless Parsonen, 27, who bubbled.
How about another double up?
A
Oh my gosh.
place, and are we sure the stream isn't looping?
Well, Omaha's got a different hand.
So Peter's opening with Jack-9 suited. Ponakov in a great spot to get another double up because Wushu's going to give him action. Thomas Mulok is definitely getting stuck in with ace-king.
Yeah, and really only one move here for Ponakov, I would think. You know, you want to balance your range with shoves like this. A 3-bet would seem a bit too suspect. But using that time bank, making it look like... I think it's too suspect. Short. Yeah, it just doesn't really have a lot of other hands that he should be flatting with here. You know, it's one of those things. You want to be imbalanced in a spot like this. It's better to do it at I think a smaller buy-in level where people can make mistakes. But you know, at the biggest buy-in of the WCOOP, I don't think anyone is gonna. So yeah, effectively goes all in here by putting in about 60-70% of the stack.
A committing re-raise. Pascal Lefrancois with the spraggy ace-7 off. He folds. Mulok with ace-king of strawberries.
You must really want to fold this, right? Even though you can't.
I don't think so. I think it's just a matter of maybe considering whether to just flat or shove. We see a click back, and all the chips are in the middle. A lot of hearts out there.
Boy.
We got a sweat, but the king on the river is not enough for Wushu. Ponakov doubles up again and now has 1.5 million, not that far off average. The average stack being 2 million, and Mikita Bodziakovsky now becomes the shortest stack at this 7-handed final table with 972k. All these players guaranteed the better part of 60 grand. Do we have anyone who is in for more than 25k? Of course we do. Bodziakovsky's on his second bullet. Ponakov's in for 50k, and David Peters also has bought in twice.
I will say at the you know, these super high roller kind of buy-ins that we've seen Bodziakovsky play, oftentimes has come in sort of like middling low stack and is really impressed in being able to stay alive and make his way up. So definitely don't count out Fish 2013 here with that sub 1 million stack.
I mean, that just changed everything. We play now.
Well, the ace is playing here with the jacks and nines on board, but it is Omaha for rolls. Playing from Hungary, who bets, gets the call. Peters is good here. Wow, straighty, flushy, double paired board. Don't see this very often.
Might see a bet on this river from Omaha for rolls. You know, if you expect your opponent to have sort of the king high, queen high type hands, that might get a fold on this river, but does decide to let it go because there'll be some 10 highs that Peters calls with as well on the turn with that action.
Joe, Greg, who's watching on YouTube, wants to know if you are any relation to Chris Stapleton. I have no idea who Chris Stapleton is. Maybe it's one of Greg's mates, and he wants to know if you happen to know if he's part of your family.
Chris Stapleton, excuse me. Chris Stapleton is my cousin, actually. I'm talking, of course, of Chris Stapleton from Schenectady, New York, and not Chris Stapleton, the famous country music star. Which one are you talking about?
That's why I haven't heard of this Chris Stapleton. I know little to nothing about country music, and I'm very happy to be in that position of ignorance.
He's actually really good.
Your cousin or the country music star?
Both in this case.
He did a song with Timberlake. Thank you for the hashtag fun fact, Pie.
It's a good song.
What's the song?
I believe they did a cover duet of what is it? Something about whiskey? Drink You Away. Cool music video too.
Juicy turn card here for Ponnikov. I think this float on the flop is completely fine with the pair of fives against the small bet. Especially because you can turn a card like this and give yourself some more equity. You know, sometimes you're going to see some checkbacks here. But in the case of King Jack off, I would imagine that Mikita is going to come out firing here. The question is, you know, how much? Is it going to be in that half pot range? Is it going to be closer to pot? That may also determine whether Ponnikov is interested in continuing. And a cheeky check back from Mikita.
Didn't realize we had so many country music fans watching these streams. Pete McDonald says, James, a man of your appreciation for old films, I would have thought you wouldn't have minded a bit of country. Yeah, Jean Renoir, Sergei Eisenstein weren't really using country music on the soundtrack of their movies.
Well, Fish got what he wanted.
Bit surprised about what this bet's going to accomplish, but I was also surprised that, you know, Fish 2013 checked back the turn, and it seems to have induced some sort of a bluff.
So Bodzikovsky now ranked 6th on the leaderboard. Ponnikov the shortest stack, but with 1.2 million is not in the danger zone.
James, you'll be happy to hear that I finally watched a big gap in my movie viewing last night. Not one that you'll be necessarily, you know, you'd be more happy to hear, but probably other ones. But I watched Tombstone last night.
Tombstone's a solid movie.
Yeah. It's not a perfect film.
It's not perfect, but it's a solid movie.
Yeah, there's
It's
some
very-
really great performances. Yeah, Joe?
It's very okay.
It's
just-
weird because, there's some scenes where I'm like,
It's
oh,
just
this
like
is better than I thought it was
bop,
going to be.
bop, over.
And then it got like really weird in some scenes, like the really bad montages of them like chasing down, you know, the cowboys. And then I didn't connect with the scene with Wyatt Earp with the blood. I thought it was like really campy. But
The hard part for me is growing up, I must have watched Gunfight at the OK Corral like 20 times. So for me, Wyatt Earp will always be Burt Lancaster, and Doc Holliday will always be Kirk Douglas. So as good as like Val Kilmer was in that movie, and he was excellent in that movie, he's not my Doc Holliday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Val was.
I believe
excellent.
we watched Tombstone for the podcast a couple of years back.
We did. I believe it was a superfan subject.
And I've got to watch The Wild Bunch tonight for tomorrow's podcast. I've never seen
I'm
it.
so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's a
It's
good
not
movie.
good?
It's just it's a good movie. It's just not an easy watch. It's, you know, I think I may have told you the
like
story.
all good movies.
Do you know
are.
what? I will save my Wild Bunch story for the podcast, which we are recording tomorrow and releasing on Friday.
Whoa!
Wow.
Someone
Just
get Kiki.
the nuts. Just the nuts.
These diamonds always make me want a blue raspberry slush puppy.
I hate to break it to you, Joe. I'm pretty sure that there are unnatural colorings and flavors in that drink.
No doubt. There's no natural blue food other than blueberries, right?
I believe you are correct. MurXM asking, did Lex or Ben CB play this? I don't believe they did. I'm looking in the lobby. There is a couple of red spades. Sam Squid 1 and Sam Squid 2.
Murr? Is that Murr from yesterday?
I don't know.
Run Murr up in the Women's World Championship?
Well, Ponakov, huge advantage here.
Sketch has a point that blue cheese is also sort of blue. However, I don't consider it food. Someone was like, this cheese has gone bad. And then someone else was like, nah, we can work with this.
MurXM confirms that they are not Mur 018, who we saw finish second to Charlotte Van Brabander last night.
Big time pod control here from Ponakov. Got to go for some value now.
231 in the middle.
This is some serious respect / fear if we see a check back here. But no, it's just Ponakov seems to be bouncing their timing. You can see how long Ponakov took with those aces.
Well, a related question, Griffin, and I think this is a fair question from David H. Why is the playing speed so much slower than on lower level games? Is it genuinely thinking or just not giving away strength or weakness?
Yeah, I would say it's more of the latter, but you know, sometimes the kind of calculations that these top players are making in their head, you know, there's a lot of different sort of levels to it, and they really want to make sure that they find the answer. You know, they crack the problem in their head, and you know, they're entitled to the time that they're allowed. We've seen some situations, and especially in some of these bigger buy-ins, that you know, players will get heads up three-handed and suddenly they have no time bank left. And that, you know, so there's certainly a cost, and there is something in place to make sure that you know, that they have a limit.
Linus Lerliger, Austrian player with 6.7 million in live earnings, 3.9 million in PokerStars earnings. Came third in the WCOOP main event back in 2018.
I love hands like this when you lose the queen high. These are my favorite.
He won't let it happen. Because Linus loves this board and Fish does not.
No.
Let it go, Fish.
Linus playing 1.5 million. Blinds up in 1 minute's time, and here we have kings for the chip leader. Thomas Mulocker opening with queen 8 of diamonds. Bontikovsky ace 9 in the small folds. Laszlo Bushtas, what's it going to be? The re-raise to 365,000. And Thomas Mulocker will fold. And that will bring this session to an end. Omaha for rolls, Laszlo Bushtas holding on to the chip lead. And more final table action on the other side of the break. We're going to use the next 5 minutes to get a much needed update on the series. Howard wasn't with us yesterday. We tried to muddle through by reading random numbers from the PokerStars blog, but it just wasn't the same. And I get the impression there's a lot to talk about today, with just 1 week left to run on the 2022 World Championship of Online Poker. So please welcome our WCOOP correspondent. He's got the looks, he's got the brains, he's Howard Swains. And Howard, the headline on the blog describes last night's action as a day of multiples. Tell us more.
Yeah, well, I know I say this a lot, but last night really was a ridiculous night in WCOOP. The short version is that we've reached that stage in the series where double and even triple champions start coming around thick and fast. And top of the list, João Vieira, Old Nazar, I think you guys call him. He won the third of this year for him. It was in a 2K deuce to 7 triple draw event. He got 32K. But most significantly, that is his 9th career WCOOP title, which ties him with Denis Strebkov for the most ever. So he also won the 2K Deep Stack this year and the World Championship of Heads Up, and he is having a really tremendous series.
But did you just say there was another triple champion last night?
Yeah, I did. Yes, there was so Onyan Dimov, Coco Jambo. So he won a 5K high roller last night for 160K, and this is his third of the year as well. So what's most notable about him? He's won a 10K, a 5K, and he also won a $215 buy-in event, which had 1,100 runners. So he is destroying tournaments, and he's destroying big tournaments.
So a two-time champion is someone who has won WCOOPs in 2 different years, and a double champion is someone who has won 2 WCOOPs in the same year?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, so there were 4 double champions last night?
Yes. We had Rue 400 from Canada. We had TOX16 from Austria, and Eisenhower 1. That's Christian Jepsen, one of the Swedish crushers that we've known for many years. And then Tobias Leknes, our old friend, Senkel 92. He won a No Limit 08 event with a 530 buy-in last night, and that's also his 8th WCOOP title. So he is not far behind Nazar and Strebkov too. So all these names are winning a lot of titles.
I'm just wondering how Tobias Leknes always has the time to win WCOOPs and to undermine my cutting-edge analysis in Twitch chat all the time. Hi, Tobias. Seems to always be there. Please tell me at least Sweden is beating Norway on the country's leaderboard.
Well, not quite. So Sweden and Norway are tied. They both have 12 titles each. They're both equal 4th in the standings. So above them is Austria, who has 19. Then the UK with 21. We can thank Nazar for that primarily. And then, of course, Brazil. They're obviously still running away with it with 49 titles at the top of the counts.
And how about player of the series? Where are we at?
Yeah, this is shaping up to be a real classic, actually. Rui Ferreira is still leading there, but only by 15 points at this stage. And the chasing pack is still playing a lot of tournaments. Benny Glaser is the closest challenger, and he had another near miss yesterday. So Benny has won 2 titles, but he's finished runner-up 5 times. So we really could have been talking about a 7-time champion if Benny could have been closing it out. So, really, really exciting. It's going to the wire.
15 points is nothing. That will be a fun one to watch. Finally, Howard, give us our daily stat attack, please.
Sure. 219 tournaments completed, 663,000 entries, 58 million and change in prize money, and 10 million paid to winners, just about.
Nice.
6 tournaments are going on right now, and another 12 are starting tonight.
Well, we're going to get our money's without you this week, Howard. You'll join us for the Poker in the Ears podcast, which we are recording tomorrow and releasing on Friday. And, of course, you'll be back with us on stream next week. But for now, thank you.
Goodbye.
Well, if Benny Glaser wins Player of the Series, he will be inducted into the WCOOP Hall of Fame. Before that, it is guaranteed that Benny will be joining us on the stream in an hour's time. We'll be speaking to Run Godlike at the next break. We're heading back to the final table of the 25k Super High Roller. Talking of breaks, see you, Joey. Gotta get that sausage down his gullet. So, Griffin, no eliminations so far. I would say the play has been snug. We did see a few double ups for Ponikov, who is pretty much tied in last place right now with Fish. Laszlo Bushta still out in front, has increased his chip lead.
Yeah, none of these players are going to give their chips away. They know how to play with these, kind of stack sizes. We thought, Ponikov's going to be the easy first elimination, and then Lady Luck came knocking back-to-back pocket aces and those 2 clean doubles. So, it's really it's anyone's game here, but nice little chip lead here for Omaha for Rolls, who started closer to D. Peters, but created some separation in that ace-jack, ace-10 hand.
Does not have the best hand here, though. Has the Spraggy, ace-7 offsuit. David Peters with top pair, very good kicker. Wheel draw now for Laszlo.
Yeah, double gutter for Laszlo. That ace is still live. And I had a sneeze coming. I guess I'm not on camera yet. I don't need to say anything. But
I was going to say, I mean, if ever
there
was a situation...
Nobody could see. I'm like, oh, no.
You don't have to share everything that's going on in your life, Griffin.
And
Okay,
that was
now's
actually
the
quite a
point
significant
where you
pot.
sneeze.
Yeah. That was quite a significant pot for D. Peters. We see, getting about 400,000 from Omaha for Rolls, really knowing how to value that 8.
Well, you just referenced the separation, and now D. Peters has massively closed the gap. 3.6 for Omaha for Rolls, 3.2 for D. Peters. The raise here from Fish, from Bodjakovsky. It's raise and take it. And here we go. Blinds 25,000, 50,000. So still playing a 40 big blind average. This is a reasonably deep stacked final table.
Yeah, but we really needed these blinds to go up to start putting a little pressure on these stacks and making them in that sort of 25 big blind range, closer to the danger zone. Otherwise, we're going to be here all day.
We want to turn the screw. We want these guys to feel the pressure. Well, the blinds will go up again in 30 minutes. They do increase every half hour. As we see Omaha for Rolls with ace-7 again, opening to 100k. Pascal Lefrancois has ace-jack.
Yeah, going to be weighing between shoving for these 27 big blinds or just calling, I think. With the ICM, you don't want to be inducing with ace-jack. And likes to just flat. And I also like that because, you're going to be getting a lot of folds when you shove, and you're going to fold out a lot of hands that you dominate. And ace-7 is exactly the kind of hand that Laszlo will be opening up from the cutoff and then folding to a shove. So, maybe if Pass just had 20 big blinds, may have been more inclined to shove, but instead keeps that worse hand in there and is going to get some value on the flop.
80k is the c-bet. Pascal with More than 86% equity. Make that 93% on the turn.
I think it'll be a bit difficult for Laszlo to use this hand as sort of a barrel bluffing hand. You know, your opponent's almost certainly not going to fold an 8 on the turn. Your opponent could also have some, you know, club draws that have turned a pair of queens, or more equity with straight draws, something like Jack 9 of clubs. So instead, Omaha for rolls. It's just going to wave the white flag, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, comment here from Jay Gandhi on Twitch about the King Jack fold from the small blind. Yeah, you know, that's a spot that you can elect to take the blockers and try to get a 3-bet through. Whether it would have worked with passes Ace Jack in the big blind remains to have. Will have to forever be a mystery. It might have gone through at this stage, but yeah, not necessarily a spot you want to be flatting, but you could take that hand and sort of 3-bet fold.
Well, we've got King-Queen suited opening here. The sailboat's folded by the chip leader. David Peters also has King-Queen suited.
Yeah, not hugely incentivized to be set mining with 4 very capable players behind that could be squeezing. You know, you're not getting great sort of set mining equity there with just 25 big blinds. And also, you know, you're going to be trying to set mine against one of the best players in the world in Makita. So,
well, not a board that either player will be excited about. 8 tray deuce with 2 hearts. Fish with the pre-flop betting lead elects to check. David Peters checks behind. 10 of diamonds on the turn. Delayed c-bet of 175k.
Yeah, I think this bet is designed to fold out hands, you know, like Ace Jack that are technically going to be ahead of King Queen, but that can't really do with much pressure. Maybe even Ace Queen off might be just folding to that big bet on the turn.
Philip, the Razor is with us again. Woohoo! Time to ignore work for the rest of the afternoon. Do not endorse this behavior, Philip, but welcome. Good to have you with us.
Bit of an awkward spot here with 24 big blinds and D. Peters opening here. And we can see how running into a little time bank trouble, wanted to stay balanced with that, you know, shove earlier with the aces, burning about 20, 25 seconds of your time bank. Now you're looking at just 40 seconds left to try to keep that balance up. And pretty much an effective shove there, putting in almost half the stack.
You know, when they were making the Lord of the Rings films, Griffin, the way they always had, like, Ian McKellen standing in the foreground and, you know, the hobbits would always stand at the back to make them look smaller, to make Gandalf. That's what happened just now when you brought out that water bottle. It was like you suddenly were hobbit-sized.
Really?
How big is that thing?
It's pretty big.
Yeah.
It's pretty big, yeah. It's like one of these, like, you know, you fill it to the top every day, and it's like, good morning, 9 a.m. Have a nice day. Remember your goal. Come on, drink more. Never say never. Almost there. You made it. Make sure I drink my gallons of water every day.
I like the idea. I would hate the sentiment. The motivational messages would make me pour it down the sink.
I never look at the. I don't actually follow it as a guide. I just fill it about 2/3 of the way when I want water, and then it's always around. And I just drink it. It's got a good suction, like the actual thing to drink it out of. It's nice. So I highly recommend it. You can get it on Amazon. I don't work for the company anymore.
Affiliate link in the description below.
Yeah, affiliate link in the description.
Oh, Linus gets shoved on. King 10 opens, and Laszlo makes it all you can eat with King Queen. Now has Ace 10 in the small blind. Let's see if anyone raises.
I dare ya. A double dog dare ya.
So has been folded to Laszlo. King Alt 666 asks, is Grafton also commentating? Hopefully Sam will join us for the last week of the series. He has been otherwise engaged for the rest of WCOOP. But when we stream the main event next week, hoping that Sam will join us for at the very least the final table. Yeah, Rastlin says, let the band come together. Did someone say band? Yeah, we have to have a Griff Graph reunion every single series. It's not the same if we don't bring you guys back together.
Absolutely.
Ace 8 opens. Queen 10 of diamonds calls on the button. Ace high still good on this flop.
It's really your just way to pay respect to the greatest poker production of all time, the Global Poker League.
Yeah, I mean, so many seasons, Griffin, that you and Sam... Oh, sorry.
Affiliate link in the thing. Omaha for rolls, taking the lead here with this check. Going to be awkward for Fish to continue here, even if he thinks that, you know, ace high is probably good some of the time here, because these are the kind of hands that Fish is aware that Omaha will bet, those backdoor straight flush card combinations. But those can just make pairs on the turn. You know, those can just keep betting, get more equity, maybe a diamond. Maybe doesn't get more equity and just keeps betting. And it's just, you don't have much of a defense, you know, even if you're wise to the range of hands that Lazo will be betting there.
Ace 4 button open. 10-3 offsuit for Pascal Lefrancois.
The kitchens.
Well, Ponikov, the second shortest stack right now, but has ace-queen suited on the button. Those stacks are very even. If I look at Linus, Ponikov, Fish, Pascal,
Okay, James.
even Wushu.
James, you're making a great point, but I want to do a little bet with you. Over under 9 seconds of Ponikov's time bank does he use here?
Over.
Under. Over?
Over.
Okay, I'll take the under. I'll take that action. Who's with me, chat? Come on, he can't
Hang on.
use all his time
It's
bank
already,
every
it's
hand.
already been 9 seconds.
No. Of time bank, I was very clear. I win.
No.
You
No. I consider the time bank to be their whole thinking time.
Is that in the fine print? The whole thinking time. I got him again. Pass 72, also known as Pascal Lafrancois from Quebec. Quite famously, doesn't wear a shirt when he wins live events. He takes that winner's photo without a shirt, so we can all imagine that he's probably not wearing a shirt right now.
Remember Pascal
like
making a deep run in the PCA one year. I mean, a lot of cashes on the live circuit, $6.4 million in live earnings. But yeah, does not have a WCOOP title to his name, but came oh so close in last year's main event. I'm sure is not going to be disappointed with a million-plus score, but always tough when you fall one short of the win.
Nothing like a good old money bath after a second place finish to make yourself feel better.
MF214 asks, where's Chris? You're going to have to be more specific.
Chris Stapleton.
Oh, yes.
Is that who it is? Did I get it?
Maybe that was the joke. Sid Hoffman posits the theory that it's Chris Jesus Ferguson. I'm not sure he played this event. He certainly did not make the final table. Jack on the turn.
Chris
gives Fish the
Jesus
advantage.
Ferguson died for our PokerSins. Jack on the turn.
I think if there were any sins, they were probably on his part. And Jack's still good. $75,000 value bet on the river. Thomas Mulocker deciding whether to call with sixes.
Yeah, pretty obnoxious seeing a bet like this, because more often than not, it's in that kind of 9, 7, or Jack range. Maybe it's a 5 doing the same thing, but you know, that's probably not as likely as the other three. So wise fold from, you know, that incredibly good price there. You know, we were talking about 17% pot. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. 75K to win 550?
Yeah. Queen 4 for Bodzikowski. Queen 4 of hearts. Bets, or rather calls. And Omaha for rolls can see a free flop should he so wish. Yep. Which is Queen 7-4. 2-pair for Bodzikowski.
Very curious to see how Mikita plays this. I would imagine starts with a bet because of those spades, but actually does elect to check. Has the board just so dominated, I think, and wants to create an opportunity for Omaha for rolls. We saw just a few hands earlier, Laszlo betting that Queen 10 with just Queen high and backdoor flush draw. And this is a very similar situation. You know, Omaha for rolls wants to start telling this story to, you know, fold out 4x, 7x type hands by the river. And this is, again, really just so impressive the way that Mikita Bodzikowski finds a way to get these extremely talented, accomplished players to just not play their best against him.
Yeah, Laszlo betting
Maybe
bigger
not the
now,
best phrasing, but
200K. Did pick up the flush draw on the turn, does not river the flush.
And I think this King of Spades blocker is real big trouble for Omaha for rolls. You know, with this stiff betting, I don't think this is a spot that this particular player is going to find give-ups in a lot. You know, Fish could be calling the turn again with something like, you know, ace-7, and there is a 1.5x, you know, pot bet.
Yeah. Huge overbet here from Laszlo Bushtas with that flush blocker, with the King of Spades. 2-pair on this board. I don't know, it almost feels too strong to fold, Griffin.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. This is a very polarizing bet here. You're going to be losing the flushes sometimes, but, you know, 5-6 wouldn't be betting like this, so just got to hope it's a hand like that, and it is. And wow.
That sees Omaha for rolls surrender the chip lead. David Peters catapults to first place, and Mikita Bodzikowski, who started this final table as one of the short stacks, is now second in chips. Omaha for rolls drops down to third. We've got kings here for Linus Lerliger, opens to 100K.
And I'll be very curious to see how Laszlo in the small blind with his ace-4 of spades plays after that big failed bluff. You know, as a rule, you really want to be careful in these sort of 20 big blind effective stats spots. But also, as a rule, these kind of players love to play these kind of hands at any opportunity they can find.
Re-raises to 335,000. Linus is the shortest stack at the final table. Has just over $1 million behind. And moves all in, gets the fold. Omaha for rolls, still sitting in third place, but is hovering around the 2 million mark right now. Blinds going up inside of 15 minutes.
Yeah, and these last two hands might feel, you know, like a sort of mini collapse from Laszlo here, but this is just the way it goes. Sometimes you make the big bluff because of the blocker and the situation and the pressure you can put on it, and then, you know, maybe you randomize it that ace-4 suited and it came up. I mean, maybe you're only 3-betting there like 30% of the time, and, you know, just decided what's going to do it. Might also appear stronger because you just lost that big pot. Like, you wouldn't really get out of line the next hand after making such a big bluff. So I think we've seen, you know, a lot of Omaha for rolls on these sort of high roller tables, and always has a pretty aggressive style, and most of the time it's gonna really work out for him.
Well, this is a blind v blind battle. David Peters, Alexis Ponakovs. Peters completes, and Ponakovs will raise to 185k.
Nice hand there from Ponakov. You know, at that stack depth against such a difficult player, there are going to be a fair amount of limp folds. So I kind of like Queen 3 as a candidate, because even though you have, you know, the third best high card, that you could technically have the best hand pre-flop, it's not a hand that flops very well at all, and you're going to be able to fold out some hands that can, you know, technically have the range advantage, having limped and not seen the check back.
Button raise from David Peters.
Okay.
King 9.
Does he get to the
Ponakovs
time
with ace
bank?
queen.
Does he get to the time bank? Yes or no? Okay, 5
yes,
seconds.
he's going to
Jake.
use some of his time bank. Now that we've established what his time bank is.
Okay, 27, over under.
Well,
And again,
this,
an effective shove.
the second hand in a row where he sticks it in David Peters' eye, and that means Mikita Bodzikovski's just taken the chip lead. Now has the slight advantage over David Peters. T. Berg asks, where is Ola? Now, this is Ola Shemian, I'm guessing. It's a much less common first name than Chris. So I'm assuming that T. Berg is talking about Ola Shemian. Ola Shemian is not at this final table. In fact, I don't think Ola Shemian actually played this event. If I look in the lobby, I do not see Wizzo Wizzo. There's no guarantee that everyone's going to play this 25k. And also, there's no guarantee they're going to make the final 7. It's not like we fast-track players to the final table.
I just assumed it was like a selection process. Like, oh, we haven't seen that guy in a while. Let's just, you know. But apparently they have to play like a full day of poker.
A bit like the first ever World Series of Poker, where all the players just voted on who should win.
That's not true. I've heard
that is
that
100% true.
Oh,
It's 100% true.
Did they get money? No.
Yeah, there was a prize for the winner, and they all voted for themselves. So they had to have a second ballot where they were all instructed, you're not allowed to vote for yourself.
They all? How many were there? Like,
I mean,
surely
I think it was a
someone...
single table. It's probably like 8 or 9 people.
So they got to the final table, or there was only 9 people that...
This is before the creation of tournament poker, Griffin. They were playing cash poker. They played a set number of hands. They played a session, and at the end of the session, they voted on who they felt played the best.
And they got a world. That's a banner that's in the Rio or wherever they're doing that now.
Johnny Moss was voted the winner of the first ever World Series of Poker.
How many times has he won the main event?
I mean, I think he won it legitimately when it became a tournament.
But does that first one count? Technically.
I believe so.
So he's won it more than once.
Yes.
Dead Royals. Rio? Don't you know anything? It's in Bailey's now, man. You're so cool, dude. Ace deuce suited. Omaha for rolls all the way down to 1.7 million in the big.
Thank you, Syncmaster, for confirming Moss won it twice when it was a tournament, in addition to that vote. By the way, I think they should bring back that mechanic. Can you imagine if you've got like 8,700 people in the room? No one ever gets eliminated. At the end of a certain number of hands, those 8,700 people will vote for who they think played the best and deserves to win the first prize of nearly $10 million.
The great thing about doing it that way is that there would just be no corruption, you know? Like, it would be very, there would just be no one that would just, nobody would get together and be like, okay, let's all vote for our friend. No, they wouldn't do that.
Democracy
it would be like
never fails. Voting is never flawed,
yes,
ever.
That's the word I'm looking for. Ooh. Tricky fishy here. Taking that suited king blocker hand, just praying that Wushu has a hand just like that he's prepared to fold. Found it. Just such a nice little inflection point by Makita. Just think about that spot there, you know? It's like, if you can fold out these suited ace wheel hands, you can fold out a lot of other better hands as well. It's just a nice little spot.
I just had visions, Griffin, of like the 12 months leading up to the World Series where you're on the campaign trail, where you're canvassing support, where you're hoping to have people's votes when you go to Vegas to play this 10K game.
Or all the people that would like buy in their family members, you know, to get their votes. Fish with some confidence now.
Oh, there's always someone who takes it too far. Goodbye, game time. As Ponikov has sourdough suited.
Ooh, sourdough suited.
Ooh, nice.
Artisanal.
Badass shove. It's one of those things that's like, oh, well, you know, Pio says you can just shove this hand. Got to be willing to do it. And Pionikov plowed it in there.
Oh, I've just realized Joseph.
That I made a sick pun about Pio.
Edward, gonna need you to use the hammer. Game time. Time out.
Wow.
Oh, hello.
Let's go. Omaha with technically the best hand here with 33 bigs. But you just can't call it.
Omaha for rolls has dropped down to 5th place. Opening here with Queen Jack.
Omaha for rolls. I'm more of an Omaha for lols kind of guy. Just for a laugh. Hey, Moin Show on Twitch.
Starts this hand. Second in chips. still sits in second place behind Mikita Bodyakovsky. We are an hour into play. No eliminations, but there has been significant chip movement. Ponakov started this final table as a super short stack, fewer than 10 big blinds, now has an average stack. Omaha for Rolls was not insignificant chip leader, has dropped down to 5th. And now Pascal Lefrancois wakes up with ace king.
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of the slow play that we're seeing, or not a lot of, you know, eliminations or clashes, has really just been a result of some card distribution. A lot of the times we're seeing, you know, big hands, but only one hand being dealt at once, or the short stack has been getting it. And look at the confidence of this 6-5 suited flat, and really creates a nice opportunity for Laszlo to get in there in a three-way situation. And Pass is not looking good here.
No, horrible board for ace king. Pair of 6 is currently the best hand, but that club draw for Omaha for Rolls. Woo. A question from Tobias, watching on YouTube. James, when will you cast your next offline event, aka live event, EPT London? 24th to the 28th of October, 5 days of main event coverage from the next stop of the European Poker Tour. You're coming over for that one, right, Griffin?
London. Yes, sir.
Interestingly, the ace-king calls.
Yeah, tough three ways here. But, you know, I think might deduce that Omaha for Rolls could just be leading here with like a dry 7. And a lot of the flat range for Mikita, I think, way less hands of this nature and way more of the sort of queen-jack, you know, king-queen suited, king-jack suited type nature. So Pass, I think, thinks and ends up being rightfully so, even though Fish technically had the best hand, is going to go heads up and is actually ahead of Omaha for Rolls. So this is a pretty interesting pot here. SBR of just 1.5 now, but these are two very, very smart players. And it's got to be a little tough for Laszlo to kind of figure out exactly where in Pass's range he is.
Yeah.
You know, if I think my opponent does just have ace-king eye here, I could probably bet big and maybe get a fold. But, you know, if he's just flatting this flop with 2 10s or any of the other bigger pairs, you know, ace-9 suited opening pre-flop, I'm not going to get any folds. So what do I want to do here? Do I want to bet? Do I want to just shove? And the bet comes in the amount of just over 200,000.
It does indeed. And Pascal does not know that he has the best hand with ace-king high. Does not know he has 68% equity here.
It's tough, too, because, you know, Laszlo is going to have some 8x hands leading this flop. You think about, like, the 8-7 that might have bet, you know, the 10-8, 8-5 even. And you could potentially be drawing dead. And you still have almost 20 big blinds to work with if you just let it go. Even if you're right and you call here, you know, your opponent can just get there. And that's really the problem. And
the
I think wisely folds the best hand.
Up 30,000, 60,000 now. Putting the pressure on the shorter stacks. Jangis says, hard to top the final table from Barcelona, but I keep my hopes up. London is at least half as fun, and it will be a blast. I think the key thing is the novelty will be interesting. They're not having been in EPT London since 2014. This is the first one in 8 years, and it's at a brand new venue. So those two things combined, I think, will give it its own special atmosphere.
And you won't have to go very far, James.
That is true. Ace 10 versus Queen 8. Ace high at the best hand. Also has a wheel draw.
Have there been PokerStars events in Canada before? Maybe some smaller sort of stuff?
Yes. Yes, there has. There was an event
Playground or
that...
something?
Yeah, Joe and I did an event there in 2014, the Canada Cup, where there was that ridiculous 4-way all-in.
Oh
to
my
end it.
gosh. That was incredible. One of the greatest finishes to any poker tournament ever.
Yeah, and then I'm trying to think, all the other times I've been to Canada is either to do stuff in post-production or when we came over for that summer party, Griffin, where the very next day Joe then did a multitude of stand-up gigs and we just randomly bumped into you walking your dog late at night.
Yeah. Laszlo, Omaha for rolls, been the most eventful of players on this table, constantly getting involved. Big bluffs gone wrong. Started the table with about 50% more chips than he has now, but has gained some back here after that very interesting pot against Pass 72.
Zeddy says, was that aces, kings, queens, jacks? No. The best hand was kings. The other three hands, not as good. There was at least one hand, probably two, which should not have been in that pot.
Yeah, if my memory serves, it was something like there was a shove and then like a shove really short and then a reshove by like king, queen, and then it came to the small blind who had ace 10, I think, or something like that, and really thought about it and wanted to be the third guy in because he covered both and like thought, and so he shoved, and then the chip leader was in the big blind with kings, and the chip leader won and knocked all three out. It's awesome. You can find it on YouTube, I'm sure.
I'm sorry, that drinking appliance is ridiculous.
I'm gonna order you one. Give me your address. You'll drink more water, James.
I drink plenty of water. I'm barely out of the bathroom. Yeah.
I will say it's kind of hideous. I like that I can only have it at home, you know. That was kind of the deal when I got it with my lovely girlfriend. She's like, "This is your dirty little secret. You can drink all your water out of this tub." Just don't let anyone see it, and then I bring it to the stream with 1,700 people. Oh god, that's funny. Linus Love, fresh off a $3.9 million score. Show off. Let it go. Jiggly Puff Avatar. Child. It's kind of charming. I like it, but you do come off childish for it.
I was going to say, I would have thought that kind of nonsense was in your wheelhouse.
No, it is. It's cute. I am childish. T. Peters, just sticking strong with that pointing monkey from Family Guy. I love a guy that will stick with an avatar even if the show has gone out of style, you know? I feel like Family Guy is not that cool anymore. But it was a great bit. You watch any of Family Guy? You watch the pointing monkey, James?
Oh, back in the day, I thought it was a really good show, but it's always been inconsistent. It's never been like, every episode's amazing.
Great highs.
Great highs, but when it's bad, it's really bad. And I've not watched it for several years, but so many comedies, just once they get beyond like season 6, season 7, it's just like, stop. I get why they don't, but seriously, please stop.
Yeah.
John P. asks, can James and Benja see my messages? If so, you'll care. Awesome. You are awesome. I'll take it, John. Yes, we can see your messages. Appreciate the compliment.
I can't see it. I'm more of a Twitch guy. I can see everything they say on Twitch. Even the mean things that I ignore. I see them all. Every single one. They hurt me deep.
Ooh,
Until
this
Joe
could
protects
get
me and bans you.
interesting. David Peters opening with Queen 9 suited. Ace King for Ponakov. Ace King for Fish. Sevens for
The Banshee bought a boat with a banana bearded boy. Gotta get my singing voice. Gotta get my camp ready.
This is where Omaha for Rolls does something ridiculously out of line and funky and gets one of the Ace Kings to fold, right?
No, all the money's going in. And as long as there's no diamonds that
Well,
come flying out of here, we are going to be singing a tune.
there is always the prospect of something dirty, always the possibility of some nastiness. 3 diamonds, 4 clubs, 4 hearts.
I mean, maybe he's going to fold Ace King and keep his 30 bigs. I've not, it's not the craziest thing. You recognize that you're never dominating it here. It's most likely you're going to be up against the same hand, kings, queens, jacks. But here we go.
Hearts?
No heart.
No. So this will end in a chop. And Griffin, you know what they say? Everyone
loves a chop pot. Let's see.
Yeah,
We're
the
gonna get a
early
lot of
reviews.
fives.
The early reviews do include the word hammy, Griffin. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. It's okay. A lot of chop pots in our
Nines
future. We'll be
on
better.
the button opens to
What did we do wrong?
126,000.
Tom's saying Griffin like it's my fault. What did we do wrong? Was it me? Was it you?
I'm going to say it was you.
Okay.
Mark Zutkov
Salt
says once more with
Paslin.
filling. Once more with
I
filling.
will give it
love
an 8. I will give it an 8. It had heart. Aww.
No, it needs more filling.
Salt, that's so sweet. Do you want a platinum pass? No, I can't do that. I'm sorry. I've given away too many. They told me to
When
stop
our main
doing
event
that.
coverage does
Makes
not
it
go
funnier.
ahead because of this hilarious bit that you keep doing.
You're on my list, Salt. If I ever have the power, you're near top of the list.
He won't, but
You don't know. I moved up the ranks pretty quick. I'm already in the second. I'm right below
King.
you.
That's Broadway. David Peters
Yeah.
has just rivered Broadway.
Wushu with an awkward spot with Ace Jack, and that's why we see a fold of the best hand. When you're up against the 20 big blind range of an under the gun open 7-handed, and you're sitting there with Ace Jack in the next seat, you're just thinking, well, do I want to be the moron that gets it in here and just gets snapped by Ace King, or do I want to flat and then have to worry about 5 other guys behind? I think I'm just gonna fold. That's what Wushu did. It's weird because you think you're never folding Ace Queen there, but you're folding Ace Jack almost always. It's just a weird range split right there where things just go in 2 different directions.
The line has to be somewhere, right?
There you go. And you can see with the significantly worse hand how D. Peters is prepared to call in the small. I think mostly because there's only one other player behind him. Not a lot to worry about You already have a bit of money invested. You have a lot of chips to work with. Got that, sour-ish kind of suited ace.
Well, ace high still ahead. Could you do a country review of the table? I assume you want an international tour of the table with the nations of the 7 finalists revealed. Let's just see how this hand plays out. Action has been checked to Pascal Lefrancois.
Nice. This is going to work. Good job. Pass.
Okay, let's go from bottom to top. So the shortest stack right now is Thomas Mühlacker, Wushu TM, playing from Austria. Pascal Lefrancois, past 72, is Canadian. Linus Lerliger, like Mühlacker, is Austrian. Omaha for rolls, Laszlo Bustas is playing from Hungary. Ponakov, that is Andres Ponakovs, and he is in Estonia. Mikichi Podsikovsky now plays from Ukraine, and David Peters is in Mexico. Peters is the chip leader, starts the hand with more than 3 million, opens the button with 10 deuce, and look what Pascal has.
Ooh, sourdough suited.
Yeah, no, might be a sour shove here. You're near the bottom of the chip counts. We saw the way Ponakov was taking those suited wheel aces and just blasting them in for as many as 30 plus blinds. I think Pass has a great opportunity here with 25 to shove, but is going to just call, and actually it is going to get him to a bit of trouble if he doesn't turn a heart. Got the heart.
With trips, David Peters continues for 80,625.
James, you going to watch Andor? Came out today. Good reviews.
In fact, Philip,
that seems
the
like
Razor, has already tipped us off to the fact that it is really good. I think this does have the potential, despite, as Joe said the other night, being a prequel to a prequel. But no, definitely going to watch it. Looking forward to it.
Prequelception. Ooh, 5 on the turn. Pass improving from his perspective. Improving, James, from a certain point of view.
Indeed. David Peters is a 4-1 favourite here with those trip 10s. Bets big, 3-4-2 into 4-8-3 with a pair.
Let it
and
go, Pass.
That flush draw.
He has the high ground. Nah, I'm just making Star Wars quotes that don't connect. But you can't really fold here, James. The reality is, you're beating so many draws. You can make a flush on the river.
The 7 of hearts gives Pascal the nut flush. Checks it. I mean, is Peters going to fire again?
Got to find a check here, but it ain't easy. If you're up against an 8x type hand. But there are a lot of flush combos that will call twice here. You think about, Queen Jack of Hearts, Jack 9 of Hearts, Ace 5 of Hearts.
Checks it back, but you can see Griffin. He was thinking long and hard about value betting that river. And that will see Pascal Lefrancois move up over 2 million. So look, Fish, Omaha for rolls, Ponakov, Pascal, all bunched around the 2 million mark. David Peters' chip lead is a couple of, 300,000 chips?
Yeah. Supposed to go to a concert with my mother in 6 hours, and I don't know, James. I don't know.
You'll be all right. Oh, wait, I just saw the next blind level is 3570.
Oh, gosh, that changes everything. Zeddy asks, what concert, Griff? I'm going to the Jungle concert tonight.
Sorry, you're going to have to provide me with more than that.
So Jungle is a band that's sort of electronic, disco, little bit of funk, dance music. It's fun. They're cool. They're like, they got some cool music videos. They're really cool live. Got a lot of flavor. They're cool. They're good. It's a good time. I've seen them at least once already live. And my mom happens to be in town because she was doing 4 days on a TV show that she was filming out here. And she's gonna stay until the end of the weekend. And I already had tickets to this. So I was like, "Hey, Mom, you want to come to this concert?"
Nice.
And she actually hosts dance classes every morning over Zoom. So it's, you know, always listening to similar kind of music. So I think I'm excited. It's gonna be fun.
So full house on the river for David Peters. And I know Laszlo likes to bluff. This is not going to be a fold from Peters. It's the call. He's now back up over 3.3 million.
Okay, Zeddy, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Zeddy said I'm seeing Post Malone tonight? Didn't Post Malone just like break his foot on stage? You should probably look into that, my friend.
Singing though, should it? And sit on a stool.
No, like 2 days ago, I was all over my like Facebook feed. I'm like, why am I seeing this? And there's just an image of him being like, ah! He like fell through the floor on stage. Poor guy.
Oh, ribs. Broken. That's different. You break your ribs, it's much harder to perform when you've got broken ribs.
He's still been performing. He cracked a few ribs. Wow. Okay.
That's impressive. That's dedication.
Mm-hmm. It's dedication. It's not wanting to lose all the money that all these tickets have already, you know. I feel like it's a whole thing to cancel a show.
That's what insurance is for. Ace King. The re-raise from Pascal or Francois.
Oh, so you just insure your shows, and then like if you have to bail for some medical reason, it's like you how does that work? I guess I'm asking for you to explain how insurance works, but
yeah, I mean, obviously we're not insuring this live stream. It's not a big enough production, Griffin. But if you
well, that's not why I was asking.
Invest millions of dollars in a live show, and it was dependent on one individual, and if that individual was sick or incapacitated, the show would have to be cancelled. Yes, that's why you have insurance.
Okay, gotcha. So I'm not insured, is what you're saying for this stream.
If you go down, first of all, you're replaceable. I'm sorry to put it so bluntly, but that's the reality. Secondly, if all of us went down and the stream didn't go ahead, I think PokerStars is going to be all right.
Oh. I don't know, James. I feel like we're kind of keeping the ship on the sea, if you have to ask me.
I'd like to think we make a valuable contribution. I think we're part of a very broad...
A big wheel.
Yes.
And we're, you know...
But overstating your importance, overrating your importance is dangerous.
I am PokerStars. Omaha for rolls, 6-5 suited. D. Peters. See, this is what's interesting. We saw the Queen 3 that Ponnikov sort of turned that blocker into a bluff. But Queen Deuce suited, I think, flops a bit too well. And is going to check back and let Laszlo get there.
We are coming towards the end of the second session, Griffin. Still seven-handed. Still no eliminations at this FT. Oh,
yeah,
Linus.
not the most usual of circumstances.
And a bet of 138,000 from David Peters with Queen High. Laszlo has the best hand with a pair of fives. However, how are you feeling about fives on a straighty, flushy board?
I mean, this is the
Three
exact kind of
overs.
hand that David Peters is targeting, right? Just
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
aware that, I don't want this 5x, 4x type hand to win its showdown. I have a queen in my hand. I could have queen 8. Probably can't have king queen, but, I could have a 10 here
Yeah.
and be value betting this big. So
Yeah.
just an incredibly intelligent bet from D. Peters there. And it's these kind of little pots that you need to win as well in order to really play at this high level. And you can see the separation now that D. Peters has created with even a pot as kind of seemingly small as that, now over 3 million, no one else over more than 2.2.
Pascal opening with ace-6 suited. Bodzikowski with king-queen. Folded around to the big blind. Ponakov with 5-3 of clubs. Folds. And that's going to take us to the second break. And we're going to give Griffin a break. But I need to bring back Joe because it's time for us to speak to a WCOOP champion. Someone who in fact has 6 WCOOP titles, 2 of them from this series. As we welcome a very special guest to the live stream that we can talk to during this 5-minute break. Benny Run Godlike Glaser, welcome and congratulations on your results so far.
Hey James, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
I remember very clearly, Benny, when we first talked to you back in 2018. It was right after you won your first WCOOP. You have won a title every year since. So do you now come into the series expecting a trophy?
Kind of, yeah. I think with the number of events there are, and considering I'm playing almost everything, I think I'm probably a favorite to win an event pretty much every series. I think, without trying to sound arrogant, but there are so many events that, yeah.
I think that's fair. I mean, looking at this year specifically, objectively, 2 wins, 5 runner-up finishes, that is incredibly impressive. But I'm guessing there's a part of you thinking, I should have 7 trophies.
For sure, yeah. It's always kind of that way in tournaments. It's kind of hard. It's always bittersweet. Most of those second places, I was chip leader for a lot of it and had chances to win most of them. So that kind of makes it hard and definitely does potentially leave you with the feeling of I should have won this or I really wanted to win this, and it was so. Yeah, there's definitely that aspect to it. It's always kind of the way with tournaments, though.
I'm going to focus on the positive. You are a serious contender for Player of the Series. Are you going to change your approach at all the last few days? Make that your focus, or just continue with your normal game plan?
Yes, and for the last week or so, I've been changing some of my approach as well. I've been playing every low, all the $5 no limits, all the 11s, where otherwise I would potentially skip them to just focus on the bigger stuff. But yeah, I'm playing every single tier of pretty much every event. I skipped the 25k. There are a couple of 5k no limits that I might have skipped that I will now play, going for the overall and high leaderboard. So yeah, just adding in those couple of extra tournaments, and there's maybe one other 10k that I'll play extra in addition to really go for the overall leaderboard.
So what's your routine for playing MTT 6 days a week as far as getting up, going to bed?
I mean, WCOOP and Scoop's kind of its own thing, really. The routines for those are very different to any other routines. Now I'm in Vancouver, so the time zone is very early. So I'm kind of typically starting my grind around 9:30, 10 a.m. So I'm up for maybe an hour before that, and then playing till about 5:36. So then I have kind of the evening free to kind of try to decompress my brain from all of the poker of the day. So I would like to say it's more kind of interesting afterwards, but really like the days are just so intense and exhausting, especially when I'm going for the leaderboard, as I said, that I might just want to decompress, do nothing, maybe go to the gym, go have a walk, I can go see the sunset. That's quite nice. I've been doing that a lot. So just kind of trying to relax and then hopefully be ready for the following day. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Benny, thank you very much for sparing the time to talk to us. Best of luck with the rest of the series.
You got it. Thanks a lot, James. Take care.
And if Benny does win Player of the Series, he will be inducted into the WCOOP Hall of Fame. The most recent addition, the reigning Player of the Series, last year's champion, Al Shakurchi. Well, let's get back to the final table of the Super High Roller. I'm going to take a break. I will leave you with Joe and Griffin.
Adios, Hardigan, and hello, my babies. We have lost exactly 0 players since the start of the day today. Joe Stapleton, Griffin Benger, WCOOP 2022, the Super High Roller, 25K buy-in. Everyone's in the money. Not everyone's, I think everyone's profitable at this point with a 59,000 minimum payout.
I think there are only some two entries. Yeah. D. Peters thinking about maybe getting weird with the suited Kevin. He's getting weird. He's going to get a better hand to probably fold.
This is my button. I have to defend it. Kevin, McAllister, Home Alone, okay.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Wushu. With a very delicious looking blue raspberry, Jack 10. Nobody ever calls it this. No one's ever bad enough. Yeah, just me. I'm the only one.
Quite a nice price there, getting with the 10 Jack suited, but you can see the pressure that puts on.
Yeah, no,
Wushu.
you can't call it though. I assume.
The Joe Stapleton rules. I think some people will call. I mean, it was effectively like 2.3x, but not a lot of chips to maneuver with, and Wushu maybe a little gun shy about that particular sizing, like it's trying to get him in there.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. A little too good of a price.
Yeah, like what's the deal, D. Peters? What's the vig on this action, huh? Omaha for rolls. Has lost.
Ace Jack suited for Laszlo.
70. Bushtas.
Laszlo getting a little funky with his chicken last level from what I could tell. A little loose with his goose.
I will say, just objectively, quite a sexy name. Laszlo Bushtas.
Laszlo Bushtas.
Yeah.
Laszlo! Oh, all in from Sam. Not Sam. That's a picture of Sam Chardet. It's Pascal Lafrancois. Gets me every time with that one.
And
Ace Jack right on the line, right, Griff?
Absolutely. Perfectly said, Joe. We were just talking actually before you rejoined us about how that Ace Jack, Ace Queen range is like can be so split, right? Like you never fold Ace Queen in these certain situations, and then Ace Jack is almost always a fold. And when you have Ace Jack suited in this spot, it's probably closer to a fold, but it's one you really have to think about. And you know, Pass happened to have one of the few, really the bottom of his range that he was dominating, but couldn't pull the trigger in those spots. You know, cutoff button where maybe we're singing a different tune, but you know, under the gun one against the button. Omaha for rules lets it go. And he's going to hate to see this replay and me talking about it.
Chartier gets away with one there.
However, he will have just heard that I thought his name was sexy, so I think he's going to be doing all right.
Kingle 666 with one of my favorite types of comments says, it's pronounced Booyah-tosh. If you're going to spell something out phonetically, maybe make the thing you write easier to read than the person's actual name. Just just to, you know what?
Oh, it's Laszlo Booty Touch. Oh, that's not nearly as
Oh, it's
sexy.
Laszlo Bo-Oy-Tash.
We got a cooler.
Uh-oh. Cooler incoming. This
Yeah.
dynamic pocket jacks on the button. 2 million in chips for Fish, a.k.a. Mikita Bajakovsky.
Oh, we got a shirt
D.
joke.
Peters
Book the win.
is
Joe looking a little blue today. Oh, we got you. Yeah, are you burned?
I'm so hurt by that. Wounded,
Okay,
as they
here we
say.
go.
There's the shove from Peters, and we will see a call-off from Mikita. Crucial flip incoming. Jack's the slight favorite. Bigger favorite now. No ace or queen on the river. Jack's hold. Double up. Mikita Bajakovsky. Now the far and away chip leader, 4.1 million.
Yeah, let's just give Mikita 4.2 billion chips. That's really fair. Million.
Good Flop 2 on YouTube is asking, which player is Linus? The one whose name is L. Linus Love. Thank you for your question.
I mean, you know, in fairness, he is stuffed away all the way in the corner there. I feel like if we just made the chip leader, if we moved him to the middle, Linus would be closer to the middle and he would have seen him. Just saying.
Also asking, which player is Alexei Ponakov? It's actually past 72. Thank you for your question. 2 pair for A. Ponakov. And I'm told that A does not stand for Alexei. It stands for A. This just means like a Ponakov.
Yeah, like he's one
Yes,
of the
Mushu.
Ponakovs out there.
Correct.
Yeah. So I can understand how that would be confusing for the person looking for Alexis Ponakov.
Correct. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Oh!
10, ace 10. By the way, A10 stands for A10, not ace 10. And A10 hits on the turn, and that's going to be bad news for Wushu.
Yeah, this is a elimination town for Wushu here. Gonna want to probably protect this top pair. Maybe you're happy with that 700,000 or 800,000 all the way out there, including this bet from A. Ponakov, one of the many Ponakovs. And Ponakov, assuming Wushu shoves, will be happy to call, and he's gonna have to dodge a 3 or a 10 or an ace, and does.
And dodges it all. So 95 minutes of play is how long it took for our first elimination. Thomas Mulacher, Wushu TM, out in 7th. The min cash, $59,768. Wushu only in for 1 bullet, though, so not a terrible payday. And we have got pocket deuces now all in for Laszlo Bo-Oy-Atiasajaba.
Hey Joe, where does a cow where does a cow leave its clothes when it goes to the gym?
The Mulacher. Not bad. Not bad.
Finally down to 6.
Get through. That's right. 6 players remain. Next elimination. Good for 83 grand. John Delano says that joke was a hurt locker. He's not wrong. Anyone want to share their thoughts on the new Jurassic World movie? No? Thank you for your question.
I hear it's about bugs. They pivoted. Why make it about dinosaurs when you could make it about bugs?
Really? Awesome. Pascal makes 185,000. With Trey 4 Trey 43 34.
Yeah, Linus ain't folding.
King 4 suited is a defend these days. And once again, we see a 2-pair beating a 1-pair situation.
Any 2 cards, Triple Eight asks, is Sam Grafton still talking to you guys? He liked a tweet. I congratulated him, but he has not been answering my personal messages now that he is up over 10 million in cashes.
He also
Not saying it's connected.
liked one of my tweets.
Yes, good.
10 of spades on the turn.
It's really the pitfalls of this industry. You know, if you make friends with people, they might get too rich and powerful and cool to interact with you the way that they used to. And that's just the nature of capitalism or something.
I've got a call in with Liv Bree's assistant for a check-in. Left front swap, bets the turn, gets a fold from L. Linus Love. Ace Jack for D. Peters on another one of his many D. Peters. You know what's weird, though, in the case of Sam and other people who have gone on to be successful, I actually contact them less.
Yeah.
Which is probably, you know, not, it would be unfair to blame Sam for that. For me being like, I just wrote nice work, bud. Like, because I don't want to get shot down.
Yes.
I don't want to be like, where are we going to celebrate? And then he just doesn't reply. So I'd rather just say, nice job, bud. And all he has to do is favorite it, and then we're good.
Right. Well, you know, you suffer from some deep-seated insecurities that I'm glad that you're addressing in front of everyone today. Peters, the Gretzkys pass all the way up to over 3 million now. Pretty nice. Apple Jack of strawberries, not going anywhere.
7-4 folds, ace, queen, tray, 2 clubs, 9's out flopped.
Strawberry apple juice, I think, works better because I'm sure that's like a combo. You know, you can go to when you go to the store and there's those juices that just like throws a bunch of things together. I'm sure apple juice and strawberry have some kind of connection. You know, those mango, orange, pineapple, they all throw all this together. Strawberry.
I don't think I've seen a lot of straw apple. Yeah, but they would call it straw apple.
Oh yeah, I guess they would.
See, Thrilla says strawberry applesauce exists, and I have seen that before. It's true.
Oh, well, there you go. I'll stick with that then. Strawberry applesauce. Nice. Okay. Folded to the small blind and a potential shoving hand here. I said folded to the small blind.
What are you crazy? Aren't you supposed to be the expert?
And yeah, this could be a candidate to shove here. You'd love to, you know, you still represent over half of D. Peter stack, so it is a shove, and it's going to be a call, and we're off to the races.
Jack high flop looking good for Bushtas. Clubs on the turn as well, and that's going to be a double up for 4 rolls. Ace queen suited
Big double up
for fish. D. Peter is now the shortest stack.
I'm bored. I did. Passion orange guava. You pog.
Is that POG or PAWG?
POG. I don't even know what a pog is. I just know people call it. Is it like they're calling them the things that we used to play with, the pogs?
I don't know.
Does it
I only
stand
know
for
what
anything?
PAWG is.
What's that? Pretty awesome.
Turn off your safe search and search PAWG. Thank me later. Ace Queen continues. Bushtas with a heart elects to not see a turn card. Pog is play of the game. Ah.
Oh, okay. I'm really liking the people getting in the spirit of the juices. One gentleman saying that PAWG stands for passion, apple, watermelon, guava.
Solid.
Pog,
Solid
a word
yes
used to
and
indicate
there.
excitement or an epic moment, comes from PogChamp. Wow, that play was awesome. Pog.
Play of the game.
Thanks, Marco.
Nick says Pog is not play of the game. Lamau. I don't like it people who say things that definitively, that know-it-all-y. They don't sound right. You're banned. Thank you for your comment. Lamau.
You know, I will say that Lamau is making a comeback in my the way I'm talking. I didn't, I was just an LOL guy, big LOL, some ha-has, emojis, big ha-ha-has when I really capitals, if I'm really taken. I've started mixing in LeMayo's again. Tell me what everyone thinks. Can I bring LeMayo back? Has it already been here the whole time?
I don't think it ever really left.
I guess not. I think Raffle's done though. Raffle is it was always reaching a bit, Like, were you ever
Raffle's
really
not
rolling?
good.
No, Raffle's no good. And Raffle
Jacks for
LeMayo
Chartier.
was offensive. It was just like you're just taking something that's good and mixing it with something that's bad.
Jax immediately outflopped. Right in the window.
Right in the window. Sometimes Greenstein comes early for dinner. Sometimes Greenstein takes the roads and just comes right on the flop. Doesn't always take the riverbank.
Pascal stationed on the flop, continuing with pocket jacks. Sometimes they defend with an ace tray ball on the river.
Yeah, not really going to dissuade Omaha for rules from valuing this ace as the best hand, even if a 5 makes a straight. But doesn't go for any value. Don't think would have necessarily gotten a call from pass anyway.
Omaha back over at 2 million, at least until the small blind was posted. King 6 the raise from Fish. Gets it through. Nine, 10 of diamonds. Speaking of Sam Grafton, speak of the Grafton and he shall appear. This is one of those side defends. Ugh, suited, you have to defend every suited hand. It's so annoying. Trust me, this is coming back around. This is coming back around.
Just fold to make Joe feel good.
Hey! A. Ponikov, one of the all-time online greats, over 5 million, almost 6 million in online earnings, just did something that I would do. Huh? Come on. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Start lacing up your sneaks, Griffin, your tennies, your tennis shoes, whatever they call them in
or
Canada.
racing, pal.
Your skates.
Yeah, they call them tenors.
Start lacing up your bladeless skates. Pocket tens getting it in as a slight favorite against Ace King, and a much bigger favorite. Uh-oh,
Johnny.
Straight draw. No good. No Johnny. Double up for D. Peters. And now it's L. Linus Love. Sorry, L. Linus L. Love. Who's the shortest stack? Sam in his sweatpants and hoodie with teal Skechers is framed on my wall. Griffin/Joe, can you help me get it autographed? Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah. I mean, why not?
You can send it to Griffin at 806 P de Neuf, Montréal, appartement à 11.
Linus, gotta shove it, buddy.
Action folds around to the blinds. Fish raising. Omaha. Steven on YouTube says, how did you guys get into commentary? Now, a lot of times people want like an origin story, but I feel like this one is more like, how did you guys get into commentary? Like, if someone ever saw me at an exclusive nightclub, like, how did you get in here? That's kind of what I'm taking it as. Pocket fours. Shove. Ooh, just shoving into the shorter stacks to the left. They both have 8-3. That's just incredible how good people run. Pocket aces for L Linus L Love. And the relevant information are the pocket tens of Ponakov.
Syncmaster 6SNE says the only requirement for the job was neckbeard. And one day you'll be able to grow one too. Maybe you'll be the third guy under us.
I feel like neckbeard jokes are right up there with ruffle. Or down there, I should say. There goes the rest of it. Snap call from the aces. Lurliker, a big favorite to double up. Whoa! Wait, 8, 9, 10, jack. Oh, okay, I see the chips being pushed to aces. I guess they won.
Yes, they won.
That seemed
And
weird,
the
though.
chips
Can we
get
look at that again?
spread
I feel like
around.
that might have been a software glitch.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that was a straight on the river because it was like their jack, queen,
looked like a
8,
straight.
3. There was a bunch of diamonds. Can we get a replay of how does this work? Can we rewind?
It's already a replay, so I don't think we could do it again. Darrow says, wow, he's smart. Most players here with pocket aces raise too much and frighten others. I don't know that you're going to see that happen in too many 25Ks.
Okay, I'm being told we can rewind it, but then we'll have to hear the neckbeard joke again. Okay, no, forget it.
No thanks.
Ugh. Ponakov, we've seen some shoves with some pretty suited hands over the course of this final table, and this is another spot that he decides to take against the effective stack of about 16 big blinds, Peters, and it's going to work. Getting the best hand to fold.
Okay, hold on a second. So Lugas is saying it wasn't a straight or a flush. Raiden was saying 8, 9, 10 jack is not a straight. Is that right?
I mean, I think we've established that we're never going to know the truth because we cannot rewind.
We can't go look at it, yeah.
So I think that we just need to drop it and, you know, this can be sort of a Scully Mulder situation. We'll be Mulder.
We just agree to
The
disagree.
truth is out there. Yeah, pretty much.
Queen deuce suited for Ponakov. Ace 7 the Spraggy for Pascal. Ace Trey suited for Linus. He says, Fish with queen 6 suited, out of position. And Fish is electing to muscle
Mouse.
Pascal out of this pot, and it works. And there's a reason why Mikita Bajakovsky constantly is going deep in super high rollers, constantly is final tabling super high rollers, constantly is winning super high rollers. And that reason, he's good at poker.
Hi, Mr. Carl's Jr. Carl's jersey. Carlos jersey.
That's Crazy Carl.
Oh, I know.
You know Crazy Carl?
Yes, I know Crazy Carl.
We all know Crazy Carl.
We certainly do. Omaha for rolls. What are you going to do? 9-8 suited. Can be a fun little shove hand sometimes, but this is probably a bit too many chips, and you don't want to just open fold this button. So, Omaha for rolls. Are you limping? Are you raising? Are you shoving it all in there? A shove's going to work? You don't know that. I know that. Joe knows that. What's it going to be?
Raiden Radio says, oh man, ace deuce. That's a straight, right, guys? I don't know. I didn't see it. Is it? I do know that hand 8, 9, 10 jack, there was a software error, and that was a straight.
Yeah.
D. Peter shoves on Ponakov.
And this is on the line, Joe.
It
King
feels-
Jack would probably
yeah.
be calling here. King 10 would probably even call. King 9 is right on the line. If you know your opponent's shoving hands like King 7, all those suited low kings. Queen Jack, Queen 10, Jack 10. What do you do? You go for it. Let's go.
And that is pretty much it. The ace needle on the river ends the deep heater for deep heaters. Out in 6th place.
I think you said deep heaters both
82.
times there. Wait a minute. Do they? Wait, is it that whichever one you want to hear, you hear? Do you know what I'm saying?
$82,938.
Yeah, good score.
5 players remain.
Would have liked good score. Would have liked more. But D. Peters is going to have to settle for 6th. Was at one point or another first or second in chips, but we've seen so much movement on this stacked final table.
Movement.
Interesting that Omaha for rolls would fold that 9-8 suited, but then open this 8-7 suited. And I think it's because of the idea, Joe, of, collision effect. Knowing that your two opponents in the blinds, they're probably just going to shove or fold on you, and they could shove and call if you just fold. So really great fold of the pretty 8-9 suited. And you can see how differently you're going to play something like 8-7 suited in a different situation.
Some playable hands here. King Jack for Ponakov. Ace 5 for Linus. Gets out of the way. Jack 7 suited. This is one I'm not mad to have to defend, but I'm not mad about having to defend it either.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, another flop 2 pair. Ponakov. 1 and 2. Second pair for Fish.
Wow, and elects to go big.
Just fold.
That'd be pretty boss.
Just fold. Just fold here.
Do what I would do, please. Oh my God.
Yes!
You did what Joe would do. Joe, you're on fire.
2 for 2 today. Well, not 2 for 2, but just 2.
I feel like this is one of those monkeys and the millions of typewriter things situations. As strategies evolve and change, eventually, it's like Doug Forsett in The Good Place. Eventually, someone's theory was going to be right, and I think that they're finally all converging into doing what you will do. 2 for 2. Sorry, that's a pretty old Good Place reference. I recently started rewatching it. So good.
Oh, The Good Place. Forking love that show.
Yeah.
Ponakov with the 87. Boop. Pass takes it down. Okay, so I see that these super high rollers are starting to fold some in the big blinding. Yikes.
My goodness. Omaha
Bring out
for
the
roll
stretcher.
with just
Look at
2
Griffin's
outs.
nipples. It's getting cold in here.
Only has 1 out. Oh, God. Queen folded.
1
Fish 2013.
out for Griffin.
But at least he could make it straight with like 9s and 10s. Oh! 9-10 also folded. Here we go.
No queen. No queen. No queen. No Omaha for rolls. Laszlo Bushtas eliminated in 5th place. Does score for 6 figures. 115,000. And Laszlo was only in for 1 bullet also. So a little bit more profit there.
Yeah,
Down
not
to
an
4,
ideal
everyone-
finish when you start the
Yep.
FT chip leader like that, or 1 or 2. But it's been a wild one. Hard to knock anyone out on this final table.
And just like that, no one's short anymore. Jack 7 flopping a pair of 7s here. Ace of clubs on the turn. Doesn't hit anyone.
This pot is boring.
A lot of checking going on.
Yeah. Linus might decide to go for some value here. You would hate to get check raised by hands with blockers and the like, but a 7 seems a bit too strong here. Checked all the way down. Maybe you can get a curious call from something like a rivered 4 or maybe even a king or queen high sometimes. But not this time. Monstra 5 asks, who is past 72? Past 72 is the very famous Quebecer poker player, also known as Pascal Lafrancois. And his avatar is the enigmatic Samuel Chartier. I have a ton of Pascal Lafrancois trivia for you. You just go ahead and ask.
What does
Bit of a legend
enigmatic
around
mean?
these parts.
I'll start there.
In general or in regards to pass? I can get the definition.
We'll start with in general.
I don't know. He's just, just an interesting dude.
No, I want the definition of the word enigmatic.
Actually, you want the definition. Okay.
Are you just stalling
Enigmatic.
so you can Google it right now?
yeah.
Griffin, you just used the word. You should be able to define it.
Are you
poser.
calling me out? No, I thought you were asking for the definition. Okay, fine. I won't look it up. Like, he's mysterious. He's interesting. He's like,
enigmatic is mysterious.
difficult.
Okay.
Yeah. Difficult to interpret or understand. That is how I would define it. Not the internet.
He's like an enigma. Okay, I get it. Enigmatic.
Thank you.
Deuce is on the button for the enigmatic Fish 2013.
I mean, yeah, Makita is pretty enigmatic, actually, I will have to say. Sam Grafton is not enigmatic, you know?
He's not
He's not very mysterious. No, he's, you know, very...
He's inimitable.
Sure. What does that mean, Joe?
Not able to be imitated.
Hmm.
I think.
Well, right, yeah, well, this 3-bet right here. I can try.
Deuce 4 for Fish, Ace 4 for Ponikoff. All the wheel cards sort of dancing around here. Not
Yeah.
all but one. Gonna get through.
Missing a crab.
Crab people, crab people.
What's that from?
That's a very old episode of South Park.
Started watching Beavis and Butthead last night.
Did you watch the movie or the TV show?
The movie.
Did you love it?
I only watched the first 20 minutes. They just got to space camp. And
I was literally crying
really
in the first
enjoying
30
it, yeah.
seconds. Like the first 30, even that pre-credit sequence of them in the spaceship.
The
I was
pre-credit sequence
in
was amazing.
tears.
Yeah, it was so good, yeah. I haven't really like bought into it yet, but I'm starting to, like when they start doing the thing with the, you know, with the thing, and then they're like doing the thing, and then they're like, oh my god, they're like fixing it, they're like doing this so that this won't happen. Like now that I see where it's going, I'm like really intrigued.
You don't even know where it's going yet. It's so good.
Okay.
Ace Jack decides to take one more card off, misses. 4s will be good if we get to showdown. And the 4s have checked. Ponikoff. I don't even know if you're supposed to. Yeah, I mean, I feel like 4s could have looked you up there anyway. So it likes to take the showdown value with Ace Jack. 4s are good, and Makita up to almost $5 billion now. I've watched the Beavis and Butthead movie twice now, and I've watched the first 10 minutes like 4 or 5 times now.
And you can see the chips are pretty spread out now, relatively evenly outside of Fish 2013. And at 70K big blind, we're looking at, you know, should I do some counting for fun?
Just wait. Just wait. Just wait.
6.4.
Just wait.
Why?
Griffin, just seriously, just wait. Because blinds are going up in under a minute.
Okay.
Just wait. I can see you still thinking about it. Just wait.
Trend asks, what movie are they talking about, chat? Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe.
Queen on the river, finally a pair for someone. And there's the optimistic value bet. Optimistic in that this is a large bet to get called by Jack High.
Well, yeah.
All right.
Blinds go up.
Blinds are up.
Okay. Math
40,000,
time, math
80,000.
time. We're gonna do some math. So 7.5 million between Fish and Linus, and then another 6 million would be 12 million 500. So there's about 13 million chips in play. Does that sound right?
Okay. Sure.
6.2 plus 7.5.
That's thrown on 32 plus
12.7.
56. That's 10.6. I'm getting 13.6.
Okay, 75 plus 6,000 is 13.6. Yes, 13.6. So if the big blind is 80,000, that means that there are about 160 big blinds in play. 150 big blinds would be 12 million. So then there's 170 big blinds in play. Yes, 170 big blinds in play. Divided by 5 would be 35 big blinds is the average. 30 big blinds would be 150.
150. Yeah. All right, so 35 big blind average. It seems deeper than that, but I guess you're right.
Well, Pass has 40 bigs. No, that can't be right then. I like that we're doing this wrong. It's funnier.
Okay, so the average stack right now, Griffin, is 3.5 million. So you divide that by 80,
bigs.
which is, yeah.
Oh, there's only 4 people. That's what I did wrong. You guys. You guys.
The math was correct. The counting was wrong.
Yeah. I like that Xtheology just asked, why 80? Because it's the big blind, my friend. 80,000 chips. Moss Monkey's asking what's going on. Joe and I are doing math because he is the human calculator, and sometimes he needs a little warm-up before the human calculator level, which is 100,000. You know?
I'm a real math head. Sometimes I'll do math for 4 or 5 days straight. I'll just be unable. If I run out of math, I'll be like, where can I get some more math?
You know, it's actually funny. My girlfriend is studying to become a teacher, and she is has to take math class. She has to do math, like the math she did in school for all those years ago.
Arithmetic.
And she's 28 and has to do all these algebra and stuff. And she said the first class, when she went in there, that she saw 4 people crying at the end of it. It was a 4-hour class, and it was just being back in the
Crying.
blender. Yeah.
Just from being triggered by terrible school memories, or was the math that hard?
I don't know. I think it was probably a combination, but maybe more the latter.
Because isn't your girlfriend a kindergarten teacher?
Yeah, but she's stopped doing that to go back to school so she can actually go and teach whatever she wants, not just kindergarten kids. She's getting her master's in
Okay, so
education.
it might be real math. Not
Yeah.
Tommy has 4 apples. Jimmy has
No,
6
it's
dogs.
No, it's real math.
Okay. Ponakov
Whoa!
with a bit of a misstep here. Pascal
I
getting
don't think
raised
this
with
is
trip
gonna work.
deuces. I agree.
So Ponakov doesn't want to get value bet here by something like an 8. And going for a little play here, but not gonna work, partner.
$3.6 million now for Pascal. Griffin Phillip wants to know, how about them Blue Jays?
Yes, very exciting turnaround. I have to say, I always saw it coming. I was very confident in them figuring it out, and looks like they are going to make the playoffs, and it's going to be really exciting October to be a Toronto Blue Jays fan.
Top pair on this flop for pass does not get domination rotated. Do you think they'll catch the Yankees? Follow-up question.
No, not after the last few games. The Yankees had a crazy comeback last night, down by 5 runs in the 9th inning, and walk-off grand slam by Giancarlo Stanton. Pretty insane.
Did Aaron Judge have a dinger yesterday or no?
He did. So in the 9th inning, they were down by 4 runs. He hit a solo home run to start off the 9th, and then they got the bases loaded, and then Stanton hit a walk-off grand slam at Yankee Stadium.
What a game. I don't even like sports, but that sounds pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
Judge is at 60 now?
Judge is at 60, tied Babe Ruth.
That is Babe Ruth's home run record.
Yeah, well, it's not his record, but that was the most that he got because Maris got 61.
Right. That was Babe Ruth's record. It's not a record anymore.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, Roger Maris was the American league record. 61.
Till the Bash brothers, who had 99 and 100 home runs respectively.
No, so wait, why is the Maris thing a record? Because it's the Yankee record, I guess?
Yeah.
Because I forgot about McGuire. Yeah, he hit 70, but he hit 70 with the Cardinals?
He hit 70 with, with an asterisk.
No, I know, but I'm saying
Linus
that, like...
Love batting this gut shot draw. Fish blocking the 7 out.
So,
and
yeah,
as
so it
usually
is...
happens. Yeah.
Yeah, Linus missing the straight draw here, but does have that diamond blocker. Might go for a stab here. This pot's actually getting big as we talk about useless baseball stats. I do want to say that, yeah, Roger Maris has the American League record with 61.
61 in what year, Griffin?
Both, 61, I think. Yeah, 1961.
Yeah, but what year?
I said 1961. You can't.
I didn't hear the 19. Top pair good for Makita. Gonna take
Wow,
it to
6.2
showdown.
milli.
And now things are opening up slightly. Less evens Stevens.
Doing, doing. You're supposed to do the animation. Don't you have that power, Joe?
What power?
Don't you have the animation power? You could have done the even Stevens.
But it's not even Stevens.
Oh, almost. But okay, so when it is even Stevens, you'll do it?
Yes, I will.
I really have this like fantasy that on like my birthday or Christmas, I'll get a surprise board from Mr. PokerStar where I can start doing the animations, you know? The Griff graph whenever I want. That'd be nice.
You know how long it took them to give me this and how many other things they took away before that happened?
Yeah, but you're irresponsible. I'm like the... I'm the responsible... Sorry, I can't get through this spit. It's... Babe Ruth held the record from 1927 until 1961. Thank you, John Delano. And Ponnikov going for the check raise with the ace-jack. Very interesting line.
How many home runs do you think Aaron Judge would hit if he was batting against the pitchers that Babe Ruth faced? Got a raise from the button from Makita.
Probably like 180 or something like that.
Yeah, I'd say 180 to 200 is a good guess.
Yeah. And you can see the power.
He'd never
of the
made it, though,
here.
because he would just get hit in the head repeatedly until he quit baseball.
Yeah.
Top pair for Pascal.
And you can see how quickly Ponnikov folded this ace-8, fully aware of how wide the range Fish in 2013's button open will be. It's just a matter of how much pressure fish can put on with 4 left. You kind of have to just play by the rules a little bit and let that happen until Linus busts. Welly says 61 is a great movie about the Maris Mantle home runs race. Yeah, I think I've seen that. I think I like that. I don't remember. The one with Thomas Jane?
Barry Pepper. Barry Pepper plays Roger Maris. Thomas Jane plays Mickey Mantle. Yeah, and I believe it's directed by Billy Crystal.
That's awesome.
7-10. Going for the old 7-10 split. If we could switch to bowling for a second. River does not improve 7-10 somehow. Pascal checks. Will Makita go for one last bluff here?
Yeah, this bet on the turn is trying to fold out those king highs, and once that doesn't happen, you kind of have to let it go unless you want to bet something really, really big to sell the story to pass. You have a 9, but it's really difficult to do.
Makita raising 4-5 suited. Gets it through. King, Queen of Spades for Pascal. Has fish dominated in the big blind, and we see a couple of hearts also folded. Will be folded. Ace high. It's a heart. King high out in front.
Bit of an awkward spot with Queen 10 of hearts. With that 25% bet, I think you do want to peel one off and try to backdoor that flush, or maybe, sometimes your opponent is betting something like 7s, and you can just get there with a 10 or a queen and get it checked down. In this case, fortunately, you are dominated by the King, Queen of Spades, but now you've turned that heart. You can maybe get a free card. Maybe you can even bluff the river and fold out some better hands, like King, Queen. But we'll see. Ooh, brutal card.
Queen 10 misses the hearts, misses the queen. Luckily, just a king on the river, which gives Pascal a better hand, but was still leading until that point.
And there it is. And fish going to have some ace-x type hands that would bet this big. So now that Pass has rivered this king, what do you do? Do you just call and hope that... Oh, wow, and he does. Brilliant.
Pascal makes the call and also takes the tournament chip lead, barely
Nice.
edging out fish.
Very nice.
Fish raising, king 6. Gets it through. Jack 7 on the button for fish. Folds it. Ponikov gives a walk to Pass. Pocket queens
said,
for Linus Love. Yes,
could have
I know.
said give.
Yes.
Okay, just make sure you know.
Pass. Yeah, no, I know. King Jack on the button for Ponikov.
So this could be trouble for Pass if he elects to turn this hand into a bluff and 3-bet fold against this button open range, because you're probably going to have to call those 16 big blinds once you put in, effectively 30% of the stack. Maybe not, actually. I don't know the exact correct answer here. I know it's going to be darn close when you've put in 440. But this particular size is interesting, Joe. It's not very big. If we talk about what kind of 3-bet sizing we normally see, this might just be a snap fold from Pass, and this might be exactly why he went with this smaller than usual sizing. Normally you'd be see, look at that. All a part of the plan. Oftentimes when you're 3-betting out of position, you're seeing these sizings, Joe, of 3.5 to 4.5x. That was not even 3x, and that is very specifically designed to not be pot committed if Linus wakes up with a monster hand. So I think that was a really cool little moment there where we see what sort of an example of why Pass is such a special player.
Well, Pass is taking a flop here with pocket threes in the last hand of the session. Threes are still best after this king 8-4 2-spade flop. Fish with the ace of spades. No bet from Pass. A deuce of spades on the turn. Gonna be tough to get rid of Fish now. Although a 2 is one of the friendlier cards one could see on the turn. Check, check. Threes will win at showdown should we get there.
Yeah, quite a nice little spot to win this hand for Pass.
And Pass is going to take us to the break as the slight tournament chip leader. Nipping at his heels is Fish, Mikita Bodjakovsky, more or less evens Stevens, if I'm going to be honest. Ponikov and L Linus, L Love, sort of pretty even at the back end here. Let's bring James Hardigan back into the mix. James, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, Joseph, you talked about the fact that you were trusted with the animations, and then you go and do it over a stadium shot. Gary's not going to be happy. I'm going to be told I have to take it away from you now. What I find interesting is the 3 players who've been eliminated, 3 down, 3 to go before we have our champion, were the 3 biggest stacks coming into this final table. Laszlo, David Peters, Thomas Mulocka were 1, 2, and 3 in chips. First 3 out. But I think, Griffin, that just speaks to how long they played 7-handed and how much movement there was in the chips during the first, 90 minutes of play?
Yeah, in the highest buy-in for WCOOP, this 25K, there's not going to be a lot of spots, really. It's going to be a lot of really talented players, but there will be over the course of the tournament. But oftentimes what we see is the cream usually does rise to the top. And like we spoke about when this final table started, all of these players are just incredibly talented. There's not much edges really anywhere. So if the cards happen to be going a certain way where the short stacks are doubling up and it's moving all around, I mean, can you really pinpoint one big mistake we really saw over the final table? Not really. So it's just really about who's maybe gotten a little bit luckier, and now it's going to be really interesting as we're shorthanded, especially with how incredibly talented someone like Nikita and Pascal Lafrancois is. Linus Love, we'll see how this shakes out.
No, absolutely. Worth highlighting once again, guys, the plan for the next week, the final week of WCOOP, because this is our last stream of this week. Joe, we are working tomorrow. We're going to record a podcast, another chance to hear from Benny Glazer, but also we will catch up with Howard, and I feel that because we didn't get the chance to speak to Howard yesterday, because so much happened last night that we had to cover today, there's probably more detail we need to look at as far as an overview of the series so far is concerned going into the final weekend.
Yeah, look, anytime somebody wants to show up on the podcast and have a lot of knowledge to drop and make it so that I don't have that much work to do and I can just listen and download everything all at once, that's great for me.
Love it. The key question is, as we go into that final week and we bring you our final trilogy of streams covering the last 3 days of the main event, Griffin, I know there is often a lot of talk about Flush Entity coming out of retirement. I'm going to ask, please don't play. the WCOOP main event because Maria is playing, Sam is playing. If you play, I just know how we run. We're going to have a situation where all three of you make day 2, and Joe and I sat here on Monday doing a 7-hour broadcast by ourselves.
James, you can count on me. I will not play.
Thank you. Good to know. And, of course, we'll be bringing Nick Walsh back for those final 3 days as well. So, yes, Monday, world-famous bubble coverage. Tuesday, the race to the final table. Wednesday will be the final table itself. And, of course, throughout our main event coverage, we'll be watching that player of the series race very, very closely to see whether it is Rui Ferreira or whether Benny Glaser catches him, or maybe it's someone who's currently sat in 3rd, 4th, or 5th. I think we're at the stage now where it's going to be tough for someone to come from nowhere. And remember, there are, of course, the individual player of the series contests for the low, medium, and high buy-in tiers. I guess we should also highlight that the last 2 events, big events of the series, are the last 2 World Championships. We have got the World Championship of PLO, the World Championship of No Limit Hold'em, those being the 2 10K main events. Joe, I know we've covered the PLO in previous years. I think we've taken the right decision to follow the narrative of the No Limit Hold'em main. And I guess the fact that we can have the replay, have Pi handle that on the Wednesday, means people who love that event still get that Omaha fix.
Yeah, you know, look, anyone that needs to know exactly what's happening in real time can go look up that information. And I think your real Omaholics, as I like to call them, are not going to be bothered by the fact that the information's out there. They can go back and watch the replay because it really does take an absolute love of that game, and they're going to want to see every second of it. So I don't think we lose anything by having it in replay. I don't know, maybe we hop around during the main event on a break or something, peek in real quick. Who knows?
Yeah, don't forget there's the low and the medium versions of the main as well. Griffin, you now have a well-earned break. Joe and I will handle proceedings for the next 55 minutes as we return to this 4-handed final table of the $25,000 buy-in Super High Roller, the biggest buy-in event in the series, with a first prize of more than $426K. First hand back, it's Fish getting aggressive.
And once again, taking the ever so slight chip lead.
Oh, aces for Ponakov.
Probably not going to be a lot of action here.
Raises small to big, 240,000. Yeah, and as you predicted, Joe, no real action there. Raise and take it.
We've had a pretty good, a fair few number of coolers thus far. Can't really complain about the action, although things have gone slightly slower. And here we go. This could potentially be one.
Absolutely. Linus Lerliger has kicker problems here. Top pair with a 9 kicker. Bodzikovsky, who opened under the gun, top pair with the 10 kicker. So interestingly, that is something that both Linus and Pascal share. They have both been runners-up in the WCOOP main event. Linus was the runner-up back in 2018, but of course Linus does actually have a WCOOP title, won the 25K event that year for nearly 600 grand.
Oh, it sounds so good. Well, we've got the worst hand raising. Oh no!
This spells almost certain doom for Linus. I mean, I guess there are some cards that Linus could catch on the river that chop it. A 9 for the win.
Yeah, we see an 8's folded.
Oh, good point. 270,000. And is Bodziakowski going to raise here or just call? And are we going to wait until the river for all the chips to go in?
River.
Yes. And this is a hand that will see Linus Lerler get eliminated in 4th place if all of the chips make their way into the center of the table. Linus does not have pot behind. 1.1. There's 1.58 in the pot.
On the one hand, I don't know how you don't get all the chips in here. On the other hand, I'm wondering what hands Fish has that can call a big bet here other than better kings. I guess hands like...
Well, there's the shove. And I can understand Makita taking a beat, but I don't see how you fold trips here. And the call will see a KO. Makes the call, and we lose Linus Lerliger, the Austrian, eliminated in 4th place, cashing for nearly $160,000, leaving us three-handed and leaving Nikita Bodziakowski as the chip leader with close to 7 million. We established earlier on, Joe, that we just saw, about a month ago, saw Nikita Bodziakowski win a Super High Roller live, won the 100k buy-in event at EPT Barcelona for nearly 2 million euros.
Yeah, and I just want to say what's up to Makita, and thanks for, he did a post-win interview with us, and he doesn't do a ton of interviews, and I just, it's nice when folks give us their time and hang around. There's always new tournaments starting, stuff like that, and when you've won as many of these as he has, then he's probably just looking forward to getting into the next tournament. So I just want to say it was very cool of him to give us a little bit of his time after that, and hopefully folks will be seeing that at a later date.
Yes, I can confirm that both Monte Carlo and Barcelona have been filmed for TV, so there will be highlight shows making their way to TV networks around the world in the future. Those shows currently in post-production. Pair of deuces. A case of domination rotation in Pascal Lefrancois' favor.
The worst kind of rotation, because you don't even get to showdown with it.
B. Baccarai on YouTube says, gotta love Texas Hold'em. I would prefer it, Bakai, if you would use the game's full unabbreviated name. Texas Hold'em.
No limit Texas Hold'em, that's right.
Well, deuce still good. 93% equity for Pascal. Ponikov with nothing. A total bagalino. But bets 231,000. Well, this would be the hero call to end all hero calls.
This is what I'm saying. You don't know how in jail you have your opponent when you dominate rotate in this spot because you just have bottom pair.
Oh, does it?
Wow. Yes.
Pascal calls with the deuce, takes the pot off Ponikov.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool watching the best in the world.
Queen
And we're going to
9
get to
versus
see the,
King
the
10.
two chip leaders go to war here. This is interesting. This is what I feel like every flop is. I think a lot of people can relate to this too. You've got King 10, it comes Ace Jack. You got Queen 9, it comes Ace Jack. 8 on the turn doesn't help you. There's just so many cards in the deck that don't connect with you.
Yeah. Chazelark says, wow, dem payouts. Yeah, significant money now. I mean, not that it wasn't before, right? But I guess if you're looking at a 25k buy-in with a prize pool of more than 1.3 million, you are going to see huge sums up top. 221k locked up by all three players. More than 300k for the runner-up. More than 425k for the winner. We get to the river here, Joe. King High is still the best hand.
Will we get to showdown?
So this does, at the moment, look like a battle between Bodziakowski and Lefrancois. Ponakov bringing up the rear right now with 2 million chips. And Ponakov getting aggressive with Dolly Parton. Does not connect here. 10-10-6.
The queen and the coconut. And 9-3, that's a hand I know very well. A walk with deuces.
Jack 7 versus 7-4. Another domination situation.
And the dominatee becomes the dominator.
And Ace 9 completes in the small. Ponakov with King 5. What do we know about Alexis Ponakov?
Almost
He's
nothing.
Estonian. Yeah, interesting. He did come to Barcelona and had a couple of cashes in some high roller events. Was playing the 25Ks, the 50Ks. Has nearly 6 million in live earnings. Online results not publicly available. Not a WCOOP champion. Bodziakowski's yet to win a WCOOP. Pascal Lefrancois, despite that second place finish in the main event last year, doesn't have a title. So we are going to have a first time winner tonight, Joe.
That's cool. I'm just looking up a picture of Ponakov now, see if I recognize him. I mean, we must have run into this guy before, but he's not someone that I would walk, you know, as he walked by, be like, oh, that's Alexei Ponakov.
Yeah.
It's 5 for Ponakov. Still good. Nope, just kidding. JK. Barry has other plans.
Barry's dressing gown has opened for all to see.
He beat Ivy heads up for like $2 million in this year's WSOP. Huh.
Barry Greenstein? I'm glad he's still winning.
Yeah, good for him. Oh my goodness! Ponakov.
Is this gonna work?
I'm just gonna let these guys figure it out. Even though I can see all the hold cards, they're gonna have a better time with this than I am. I mean, you just don't see very many river raises, so it's quite polarizing, right?
I mean,
it's what, running clubs that could really river raise here. I don't even think like ace 10 can really do this, can it? Ace queen,
well,
all right.
gets the fold, and we reach your favorite blind level, Joe, 50,000 at 100,000. Meanwhile, I know it gets slightly awkward with the time-space continuum with the 30-minute delay on the action, but not on the commentary. But a question from 2006 has made its way into the YouTube chat. Christoph Stoffy says, how you like Craig as James Bond? Thought he was good in Layer Cake. I mean, that has been discussed ad nauseum over the last 16 years, but thank you for your question.
I mean, the guy's not even James Bond anymore. That's how late this question is.
Craig Ferguson played James Bond? Asks Syncmaster.
So I'd give another little pat on the back there for Ponakov and that river bluff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Ponakov managing to keep his head above water, shall we say. Playing around 20 bigs at the start of this hand and has flopped top pair. It is a rotation situation.
I mean, it's entirely possible that that river raise bluff is the turning point for Ponakov's tournament. We might be looking back at that at some point, being like, right there, that's when the tide started turning. That's 2 pots in a row, over 2 million now.
Sean B, will he do a Connery and do another one 20 years from now? It wasn't 20 years for Connery, it was just over 10, and wasn't even an official Bond movie. So I'm going to say no.
I think that's my favorite. Oh boy, how about this? Little set-up ski.
Are you about to say that Never Say Never Again is your favorite Bond film? Because I will leave the string.
Yeah, it's my favorite. Yep.
Okay, thanks everyone. I'm done here.
It's the only one that incorporates the use of video games.
Oh my god, that scene is so bad.
In all honesty, place in a retirement home and they play a video game.
I have no problem with the idea of them playing a video game. The game makes no sense. Visually, it's impossible to see what's going on, and the rules are so not clearly defined. And when they talk about pain level being 70%, 70% of what?
70% of pain. Come on. Use the grape. It's math.
It's a really, really bad film.
I haven't seen it since it originally, since I originally had the VHS tape, so I feel like maybe we should punish ourselves at some point. Is there anything remotely poker related in it that we could possibly...
Other than, not really, no. Other than the casino that he goes to is actually called Casino Royale in the movie.
Okay, all right.
Where he plays a video game and then dances a tango.
Well, we got second pair here versus a gut shot. But don't worry, that gut shot won't come in because blockers.
Yes, Rick Rudolph, this sounds like a good Superfan versus Stape subject. Let's throw it out there. If you've considered coming on the podcast, Superfan versus Stapes, and you can't think of a specialist subject, watch the movie, Never Say Never Again, select that, we'll fast track you, we'll get you on the show. I might even juice the prize pool.
Oh, man. Makita, what did I do to myself here? Makita raising with the gutter ball with the belly buster draw.
Oh, yeah.
Ponakov makes the call with the best hand. And Makita continues telling the story. And that story is, I have King 10. I have Ace King. I have King Queen. And gets the 10 to fold. 7.6 million now.
Yeah, putting some distance between himself and Pascal Lefrancois, who's opening here on the button with Queen 5 of clubs. 6-4 of clubs for Mikita Bodziakowski. Calls. Ponakov 10-4 of hearts. Faults. Queens and 5s for Pascal. The open-ended straight draw for the fish.
Well, we all know that whenever someone has an open-ender, they're going to make a pair. So will it be the 4 or the 6? Well, the 4, we got a 4 folded, so I'm going with 6.
Pascal continues with the best hand, 70% favorite.
Perfect price to draw.
Or raise.
Oh, man. Man, Makita is just not letting up. Just completely plowing through these players. Not going to get Queen 5 to fold.
There
oh,
is
you
the
can
straight.
just make the straight with the 8.
Bodziakowski now a 9-1 favorite. Pascal Lefrancois will need a queen or a 5 here. But I don't know, it kind of feels disguised as well, Joe. I don't think Pascal will be worried about a straight on this board.
I mean, it's not the only straight out there, right? There's 6-9 also, but, you know, these are hands that largely go ignored.
Yeah, and crucially, the flopped flush draw has not come in, so this bet of $1 million, at the very least, is going to get called. And he moves all in on the turn, called, does not spike a full house on the river, and Pascal Lefrancois busts in third place. We're going heads up. Look at the chip advantage that Bodziakowski has over Ponakov. It's 12.5 million, playing 1.2, all in on the very first hand of heads up with ace 5.
By the way, I would just like to go on record as saying that Makita did also make a pair in addition to the straight.
Thank you, Joe. Duly noted. By the way, Pascal Lefrancois cashed out for a total of $221,618. Now both players are guaranteed more than $300K. Playing for around $120,000. That's the difference between second and first. Ponakov has a lot of work to do. 14 big blinds, just shy of 14 bigs.
A lot of work to do, but pressure off. This is like one of the few situations in poker where there's almost no pressure. You've laddered up as far as you can go. You've got a big deficit. You got to take some high variance plays. You got to get it in. You got to try to double up. It's just up to the poker gods from there. Obviously, considerable skill still involved, but
you know, during the last break, we referenced the fact that the 3 players who'd gone were the biggest stacks at the start of the day.
Yeah.
That trend has continued. Nikita Bodzikowski started this final table, one off the bottom. Alexei Ponokov's was on the bottom, was in the danger zone with fewer than 10 bigs. We referenced had scraped his way into the money. Now, the 2 players who started this final table, 6th and 7th in chips, are playing for the win.
Started from the bottom, now we hear is something I hear people say sometimes. I'm not sure what it's from.
I think it should be now we are here, otherwise it's not
Yeah.
grammatically correct.
Poetic license. Ace 5 seems like a pretty easy shove here. Yep. Ooh, that's such a nice sight. Ace Queen suited.
Yeah, and a reminder
still
that
gets me going.
Bodzikowski won the Super High Roller at EPT Barcelona last month, looking to follow that up with a WCOOP Super High Roller win, which would be Bodzikowski's first ever WCOOP title.
In his 45th Super High Roller title.
That's probably not much of an exaggeration. So, deal?
Nom 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 nom.
Anybody want a deal? Anybody want a deal? Deal? Chop it up. I'll give you a little more. I can give you a little more if you want to do a deal. Let's talk. Anything could happen. It's heads up.
Do you know what? If I was Bodzikowski, I'd say, sure, I will deal. I will guarantee you $307,530.63. I will give up 1 cent.
What a jerk.
I mean, obviously, I wouldn't find myself playing heads up at the final table of a super high roller with a massive chip lead. But if that ridiculous scenario were to occur, I'd lock up like a decent amount. I wouldn't do that.
If I was Nikita Bodzikowski, I would definitely just click the deal button for like a second here.
Yeah.
Just a little tease, like, look. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe, we established earlier on that Chris Stapleton is your cousin. Now Dylan wants to know, is Joe Stapleton related to Matthew and Jamie Stapleton?
Yes, Jamie and Matthew Stapleton are my parents.
Six on the river for Ponakov, but still losing to the sevens of the fish. $250,000 into $425,000. Ponakov having rivered a pair. Might be tempted, but those chips, got to conserve them. 13 big blinds.
It's just
makes the
2.5
call.
big blinds.
And is left with a 10 big blind stack. As Swesty asks, Joe, have you ever had a cheeseburger?
Yes, thank you for your question. Although I am partial to hot dogs. By the way, I might do a little cooking stream after this if anybody's interested. I don't know what's going on the channel. I don't want to cannibalize the audience, but I'm going to make a nice big pot of pasta sauce tonight, and I'm thinking I might stream it.
Okay.
Pots and Pots, we're calling it. I know Crazy Carl's going to be there. Anybody else?
Come out, Stape Stalkers.
You remember that scene at the end of Goodfellas when they're making sauce in prison? That's how I do it.
That's absolutely
You
fine.
guys-
I'm just kind of confused about why you'd want to broadcast that on the internet. And I guess even more confused why anyone would want to watch it.
People love my cooking streams.
When you say people, are we talking...
The most subscribers I ever got was during one of my cooking streams. I got like 25, 30 subscribers.
And this is why the internet is just so wrong.
Also, this is an official plug, sort of. I'm going to play some PokerStars VR on Friday, noon Pacific time. Probably going to stream that.
More on
too, if
brand.
people wanna-
Approve of that one. In all seriousness, I would join you if I was around on Friday. I haven't played VR for ages. I think headset probably could do with a charge, actually.
Yeah, I gotta do. I'm sure it needs an update and everything else too. I gotta do all that.
Oh, that as well. Yeah, we haven't used any device for a significant period of time. It's like, don't expect to just pick it up and for it to work. Oh no, multiple firmware updates. That reminds me.
I had to update all my controllers to play, so I could play PUBG with you. That's
Yes.
how long it's been since I turned on my Xbox.
Yeah. Got to get that going. I've roped in Gary. My mate Ray's standing by. We're going to get our PUBG squads going.
It seems like they fixed a lot of the issues that I was having with the original version of the game, so maybe I'll be a little better this time.
I mean, when you were playing the game, it was officially still in beta.
Yeah.
And Ponikov surviving for now.
Yes, Pibakai. PokerStars VR is a thing. Very fun. Free to play.
And INEV's stream is correct. It's not real money, but you can buy fake money with real money.
In the words of my good friend Look to Windward, it's not real money, but it is life and death.
So, Pipers says, let's go Latvia, ship it. I genuinely don't know who you're supporting, Pipers, because Ponikov's from Estonia and Fish is playing from Ukraine. So, they're both in that part of the world, so kind of...
Latvia and Estonia are like right next to each other, I think, though, right?
Yes, that is true.
Come on, Ponikov. Let's put up a fight here, buddy. Don't let this 3 get to showdown. Make something. All right, it's a jack. See? Open and straight draw, make a pair.
Pair is good enough. Ponikov may be Latvian, however he is playing under the flag of Estonia, and as we've established before, it's where you reside, it's where your account is based that decides your nationality in the World Championship of Online Poker, which is why the UK can lay claim to one of the greatest players in WCOOP history, João Vieira. Old NASA is a Brit. Love technicalities.
You are good at them.
It's not my fault that's the landscape of internet poker. I didn't make the rules.
No, I mean, you're good at technicalities in general.
That's right, Nandogo. NASA is 100% from the United Kingdom.
You should see the way he takes his tea. Very English.
Always has a cucumber sandwich at tea time during the tournament breaks.
We got a pair against a pretty much unbeatable straight here.
Oh, yeah. And I keep forgetting that Ponakov is so short that any piece of the board, he could rip it any occasion.
I mean, if you're fish, what are you afraid of here? What are you afraid of? Give him a little rope. Obviously, whatever fish does here is the correct play. Whatever I say is stupid. That's right, and Adrian Mateos, also British.
Hammersmith's finest.
So Ponakov did call that bet. Great job by Mikita. Gonna be tough to get a call now.
Yes, but that, even if Ponakov doesn't contribute any more chips to this pot, Joe, it's going to go in Fish's direction, and Ponakov's going to be left with 8 big blinds. It's all into call.
Yep.
Snap folds is so short. I mean, even a double up, you're still short. And now dominated with 6-5 against 8-5. David Humphreys pointing out that Steve O'Dwyer is 100% Irish. I mean, to be fair, Steve does have Irish citizenship. He does have an Irish passport.
He's not just playing from the airport lounge.
And I can tell you from experience that if you had a grandfather who once went to Ireland on holiday, it's actually relatively simple to get Irish citizenship.
That's a joke, right?
It's a joke.
Okay, just checking. So Mikita limping in with Queen 7. 9-3. That's the Stapes hand right there.
Contratempo says Ponakov should resign like in chess. Hey!
Pairs
Flopped a pair.
Yeah. 3's good. 3's be with you. 3's be with you. There's the all-in. Fish folds.
12 big blinds for Ponakov. Dominated here. King 4 against King Queen.
11 big blinds. You can limp in, I guess.
And does. I think will be punished. I think we'll see a raise from Fish.
Yeah.
All into call. Can't call it off with King 4 off.
Poor Ponakov, just nothing. Just no hands you're excited about. Hands that if you even hit the flop, catch a piece, it's always going to be bottom pair.
Well, sees a free flop here, catches bottom pair, and is losing to second pair. Oh, look at this. How much can you milk? 100,000 on the flop. Ponakov with a pair might make the call. Raises. Oh, wow. it's not looking good for Ponakov. And with that jack coming on the turn, that makes Fish's 9 feel so much stronger. Bets again. 212,000, having check raised the flop, barrels the turn, and if this gets the river, if Bodzikowski just flats here, Ponakov, unless Ponakov improves, which he doesn't, it's 3 pair now for Bodzikowski, Ponakov has to give up now.
Yeah, oh man.
Just save those last 5 big blinds, just wait for another hand, wait for another opportunity.
Half pot. Yeah, there's the check. Just a half pot left behind. Pretty no fold equity, as they say.
Bodzikowski will shove now. It will be all into call, and this pair of 4s will have to go in the muck.
I think Mikita should just check back here and not give Ponakov a chance to fold. Have to show down the 4. Just to demoralize him.
Oh. Ponakov, if he calls it's all over, doesn't fold, lives to die another day. That's what it kind of feels like right now. Just 5 big blinds. Queen, deuce. All in. Called by King 3. Bodzikowski with the advantage. A king and a queen on the flop. And that will do it. Mikita Bodzikowski closes this out. Wins the 25k Super High Roller. Bodzikowski wins his first ever WCOOP title. And Ponakov, who came into this FT as the shortest stack, manages to cash out in second place for $307,530. But yes, having won that Super High Roller in Barcelona last month, Mikita Bodzikowski, Fish 2013, wins this WCOOP event for more than 425 grand. Griffin, Fish on a heater.
Yeah, and it's about time. You know, one of the most decorated players on the EPT finally gets their first WCOOP title, and really well-deserved, and a really entertaining final table. Started a little slow, but, you know, in the end there, the best player won.
Yeah, but math dictates it, right? If you're going to have 90 minutes without losing a player, the blinds are going to catch up with them, and eventually it's going to play to its conclusion. I'll be honest with you, Joe, we got there quicker than I thought we would. I guess that just is more about that clash between Pascal Lefrancois and Mikita Bodzikowski that just gave him that ridiculous chip lead heads up.
Yeah, you know, as many of the WCOOPs could have gone this series, you know, this one could have gone a lot longer. They were certainly stacked a little bit deeper than the finish indicated, but yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbled this time.
So Griffin, you're back with us next week. Main event coverage, 3 more streams, 3 more days of WCOOP. Actually going to have a story following something through from the mid stages to its conclusion. We will see you next week.
Very, very excited.
And before we get to Monday, Joe, we've got the podcast record on Thursday. That new episode of Poker in the Ears will be released on Friday, and then we'll be live again at the usual time on Twitch and YouTube on Monday for the final week of WCOOP 2022. Until then, from Griffin Benja, Joe Stapleton, and me, James Hartigan, it's good night from the PokerStars Arena.